Dioha and the Anopay. I think, say, in the Fourth Republic, he's the youngest regional minister in Ashanti region. And he ordered the youngness and the vibrancy Ayira Ashanti region, or the Beba back. His name is Dr. Frank Amoakohene. Se papa we di Ashanti region hwe amope apem. Take it or leave it. Very young, very energetic, very knowledgeable and intelligent. Enti Akra
Captain.
Wudi ehwe mo a apem, but me hwe se de we si ahase na enya ade a obedi ehwe mo. Mami mo wache mo akwaba. Bibi aboko.
Meje oso chankopo de me kwache me. Na so what to say.
Oh, eja. Yo.
You don't know me asi.
Ashanti region to say.
So far so good. I know pay mami chia opem so. Me am na Otumfo Asiedu. Na me chia me ofane mpanifo e Ashanti region na. And His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Mahama. On the finance minister. All my crew man there.
What's it?
Oh, my Krumaya de.
Krumaya de, oh.
We come show.
Temperature Krumaya de.
And I'm say, the bedroom can remember. Now, a minor call home about some, a minor photo sound for Uriah to forcing. Or the Batuja concerning a budget. Mrakaisono. I was a Kaima Ghana through Parliament. How about mine sika? I buy no a spending. Then the Vietnam Parliament House will be from the start to the very end. Now, Utie and someone honorable to forcing a two jana. Bibia Nanchain, which means say the budget reflects His Excellency Mahama, how honest he is, how truthful he is, and how inclusive our person in the government will. And yeah, Kobia would de campaign Chibia no, Utie budget, Utie campaign no. And our campaign in Sema, His Excellency Mahama Kaya, which means a campaign in Sema, Ghana for SO more and into Motuaba, Edema, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And no one Juma pen obey and our Parliament House. Matieti pa calls be so many free from not say budget no, Bibia than now Kwamwa. As Antimantema list, I'm a regional minister or Hodie, or Masumuya, you say, Ebe Boama, Kuna fan into my prefer.
On the budget today, honestly, Anopay me can say it's not because me pay my hammer seventy. And I start to force and me crew intra. But in this Fourth Republic, budget we could do by redo. First budget as a finance minister, let's say. But we could do by redo the answer.
I reflect with the hopes and aspirations. Mr. Mammy be framing. You have a campaign now. Ni hum bebre I say oh when this be free SHS mu and this budget mama abro what hold 10 aso tie say am pass NDC betwem na yintwem na no kan just say Kotumfo ni so no be free dua mane ni kan di na chi enna budget allocation for free SHS way more than the NPP kura no because you identify problems on where person dey solve and there was this care ko na mu yedunye timi dey solve especially on maduane sem ebi me ka kire maame say one, and cranny we SS na also motoaso. And this SS school fees no cry want me and then I just say university dia na tertiary university. And as part of your campaign message, near catch them say, oh, first year no. His Excellency Mahama promises say be free. No me so as we dey more rem abai no ntimi nya dey keka. Enra budget na make provision for a first year tertiary students o kwa wontu ahwe. Biom. No mo so how you say, ya man obi o ha bia no won san.
Na then Moka say Kamobe be between 250 to 300 million Ghana cedis. Mama Soko 400 million. As somebody be home.
Say who assess the number of students that enter tertiary na a double because of say you be SS no at that level.
Okay.
And to hear any projection now you see old figures now you may get it wrong.
Okay.
Because number not addable. And you percent your movie your percent crowd be SS no mark that level. We need to make sure say ma access to as many as possible. And until you increase the budget, you know that CBT cover for Ubia. And again, persons with disabilities, not just first year, free from level 100 to level 400 all the way through tertiary.
There can be
for persons with disability. No. And just for the first year.
Persons with disability, okay, Obi and Nefra, Obi or Yaba fine, sir, Obi Obia Nina Omina Folly and Achafonina Obia what say Sabi on to say between 2 Bibia from level 100 to level 400 because it's so very invested and we are free for them. Oh, afraid of investing. Wow! Ebi so na mame fo na yekọ campaign no mo e worry say ebi on kram yenu baako e wo talent opese osua a skill nsanodwuma baako so wo nimdi opese oto an school so do ko ni school no ko ni free a de opese oka e na osua nsanodwuma ono ko obewie na adwuma ye ready no. What are we doing as a government to support them? And they say one sakra no every year says opese osua nsanodwuma they introduce what we call the National Apprenticeship Program. National Apprenticeship Program, the trainer is there. You have a master's for no. You have a three hour cranny to Sandy and Mom, cranny to a capreba. David. Amoakohene. Yeah, but true. And Ramete. But my Mimbusa. Aqualana Okosuye Jumano. So Okosuye Trio. Adepam. And for Freddy Fita. Well done. Carpentry. Nina. And the thing captured under National Apprenticeship Program no. And in Kuala Lumpur, adwuma nyina. The Sikano and the master bedroom. Master bedroom the betua. You be say man no. Efidia or the be sua adwuma no. To be able to support them. And as a comprehensive package under National Apprenticeship Program, and the budget has provided for it as well. And it's a no years no be so co school be so sua and you are catered for. Said the bayan kobase o ono ye Ghana ni wantimi anko school nti no aban na yi na frim anaze onya bibi e be boa ne dachi. So if I understood you correctly, the way we SS oko university no aban tua kan aman mo no akọ free and the ono so we SS oko so kan aban so tua free precisely. So we've catered for obi a wo free SS bracket no. And the which we can chance we SS uni hwe baby this be one number person baby so and near my where draft people's manifesto, His Excellency the President, who were the campaign now, or talk almost 3 or 4 times before election period campaign Nankasa. Drafting manifesto, you share all the organized groups, organized labors, community leaders, stakeholders to get or more input so far as your manifesto is concerned. And these are issues that emanated from the people. And they capture your engineer friend the people's manifesto. No? And if our people's manifesto are resonating with the people, overwhelming support, we shouldn't throw that away and do something else. It will be because will be our follow campaign who say the same things are Ghana for some penal and only attribute cost to it to make sure share or minus ever covered in Netinyabua. Adebako so no different huna timamufo bebre nursing training allowance, teachers training allowance. Say help Mahama with free education, with nursing allowance, with teachers allowance. Yes, there be. Yes, Ghana for bo. And the name of the past year from Amoama annual trophy. For nursing school, be I kept encouraging them say continually support His Excellency John Mahama. Now on to Abanamano, nursing training allowance, teachers training allowance, young fire and sanka. And pass young fire and sanka. You are making budget provision for nursing training allowance, teachers training allowance. And you see, and your parliament house or no leader, say by 2028 now. Or sooner than a micro elephant. Or sooner kitty. It is because Ghana for Ebehu baby no Canada. We can no move na Ghana for part. There be a boy MPP for more percentage and promunya in this election. No, these 3 pillars: free education, nursing training allowance, teachers training allowance. This and no more trump card and no more use in this election. Nina ye free ho. Ebiom. Now you have a campaign, you say a mabunu edumasem never form youth and employment.
ade na higher dream pa owe Ghana ni na yeah around 14%. Ashanti region yeah number around 16%. Okay. Yeah, a bit higher in terms of unemployment than the national average.
Okay.
It's year coming na na shamba blue cry say you be creative job avenues to support them. Owe to say Ashanti region for instance, nipando do na person me yo mo akase djuma. Into a young entrepreneur the second startup our day share jumanas and it becomes difficult sustaining it. And the campaign manifesto no, we came up with an idea say why not ubenya for two bia ubet media boama or more per se a young more juman ubet media asi o machi a buy. And to where your youth manifesto no the policy by a friend a jumaria policy. And the jumaria policy all it seeks to do is say what started wa juma and now the national apprenticeship program where we obese wow start wo de uhia container uhia niema ebetuma boa no atumi agina as an independent business owner adwuma policy no ya make provision for it again under this budget ejien go base wakọ suansa no nyumo na wi oba betena nchen debi usuansa no dwuma ni wi a obewie no na adwuma policy no so otwe wa ebe boa mo atumi start up in order say obetumi anya bibi to do again emabunu na say wa ha digital space ni so no Obia, Obabnubia at this age, him how to use phone, how to use laptop, how to operate same, and all that. And most of these institutions also, they are moving into, as it were, AI and all these digital space. What we decided to do here, say, under the youth manifesto, we are promising to training 1 million coders. Said there institutions here and Kwadai Babuaya with IT-related works, no, to me absorb them na faster. Under this budget also, that's how provided for same under this budget. The aim and the of this budget here, assembly members are omu ahia de no mu sufre. Time be abeko campaign bia. The whole local government all the way through to districts, municipals, and Sakranaba friends metro no to even talk about RCCs, even to move up. If the base of your local government is not well catered for, what will happen is say we na ya die ene niema omunya as a candidate ever moving into no unim say wo ye adwuman but you decentralization no na akakakra His Excellency John Mahama or yan engagement me kai pefi oba Asante Mantem ye organize assembly members nyina mo hye o mo TUC nkomodie no ni nyina most of them centered around say omo hia a bit of an allowance e betumi aboa wo mo na omo so madwuma no say fuel say bi me nketenkete na ozo omo de ye boa kuro na omo no zo mo bibi kakra de a enen His Excellency John Mahama de share manifesto no and ye ba ye 3 months nyina assembly members a omo go to council of state elections me kai bi ba no office omo ni ba be share na mo share ye bo de na me na mo ntwei budget ni beba na be solve no problems nyina na me share da kura ni that so say e be feature in this budget because I thought say ebi e be twen na ya stable kakra as a government and sana man e dia ba nyankopon nya adom enra atoforcing or kai budget no duru ho na wa make provision for assembly members nyina across bosumi bia no we will be able to support them. What I'm pleading further is a unit committee for no as I call no we should be able to make provisions for them as well. Yet me yes anyama we nyina na afi obi a wasum Ghana at any level of your governance ni bia no obeyi na komam no aye adwuma de aboa ma Ghana afan ntuma perfect. The captain enra de kroma ye de pa betting tax ni my bet super bet 1x bet to 4 de no kra de and de okodu say okay sports for no buy am kan wan say
oh yeah kan wan say
any e-levy ni na tinto
ba me de ha me say Muslim a oye chiri ye di intro enra I mean, how can you be called Muhammad and be lying through your teeth like that? Oh, my worry, you know. No, say, Abino did not institute, never collected anything betting tax. All can not Patrick Boama John say, hey, wait. So, okay, what I say?
Go for more, there's mother. Captain, the NSA I say, me doing campaign time, na me hear more of the youth campaign. Na me name boys, get to boys near Tashisha. The name of my say, Ulo disikano. If you momo so, at the bar, wo every aviator, a wallet. No one chibi, no one janisa, one sticky, one but odds be now we say you say sika kro na ye wa de na the two wallet no e dey about momo wallet money as atom me is one problem now and dem as person me load 50 cedis na me sticky I was all lady free momo na the call platform so ansa na e bia wudi bia wasa load dey about one momo ansa na watimi yi and dem say my load 50 but my nya odds bia na oh I'm not in the good mood nti man twi ma anya hwe me say load back to me momo wallet. Say 50 cedis na call na say ba ni asate. Nti na say what di yet wo. Usika na de call na wo sa de ba no and asate wo ho tax. And you see na omo kasa yaudie because omo frɛ ba ko bi aviator. Say wo twi na plane ni tu a.
O say.
Come just say victim.
O say.
Omo frɛ ba ko bi aviator. And I plane. And the plane no more time no. And the longer the plane stays, now to mistake it drew no. The more and now we see can also do.
That's right.
Now if you are
betting
no. Aviator. Me do na we think can have this kakesi aba ship. Do think that say ship. Now fe plane na and want to say you to us won to we so check a crab you. Hypertension baby I aba mabnu no so no aviator no ka ho bi aviator de ka ho na da obedi kakra bi no wadi ya di baby wadi kakra bi no aka wo beyi na nka ja nka odi aye obi bi no na ba na sato and ne say yet wo monti former finance minister no beji na Mike Anima no ka otherwise no obi a na obi abu office no I mean why ade no wanye ni ya many am before na nka after budget reading we no anka mba beji na Mike Anima Kadi medical yes me pa Ghana for acho. Say one, e leave you omo de ba na Ghana for yes ase. Omo ye ya akoye town hall meetings on it just to convince Ghanaians say e leave ni ade papa. Ana e leave you buy revenue kura no mo pe o kura no manya. Omo anya no so kura omo say nya series of advice say omo ensan reverse mfi ho. Omo mfi ye e go try cake. Omo ye na fi omo na say e leave buy na say be promise ye. See it's out to about more ade no mo na de bae no obeyi afi ho omo kure ya sa bae sa say sa betting tax no omo promise omo manifesto say see to obama Dr. Baumia obeyi betting tax na say afi ho enti ade a finance minister think one farmer no ade a one farmer dey na sa ebeyi free wa bra e be sa beto aba e dey about so you see Ghanaians any a democracy ba bi edru no we leader now one honest with them one. Ombe udi no ma he osa. Yeah, ebroni dura na ya punish show. Now on say the Excellency Mahama ne governance we tie no. Ye de ne bae ana ye yi ni free so ana ya sa de na ba. E de say de wogu akoba. Me ye doctor yi. Nkofo bi o ha. Edru ba bi e din pa otimi kura call off. Na bi a wire resuscitation na gina ne so for hours ansa na obabak. Obabaka and Yama will who here on the other side of the world, no, or our person will share be with you and all that. So for no follow our lifestyle part, they change from a lot of things. As a woo when you know, it be nice, Excellency Mahama, one saying that's our Konyana, or ban the second term. As a call you, they come at you. The second term was a of any legacy term. It's many brepa. Say. Obe free so a the 10 no ebe end no I was say eboni din di edimpa e time ni din and he started on a very good note. The reason why I'm always say yeah na appoint this no yes you now captain now nipa no oda wani odi wani no na ya wo be den na wo as an appointee wada and dey so kra nipa 16 na nko appointee nyame aya wadnom na out of nipa bebre eboa ma party ba power 16 no ko kan ho a now the wadi adwuma na de akokoto bibi say say ade na wo amoa nipa no appointed to who say ye boja ne na mu na ye hwesa dwuma ne nkoso a na because be say boy his excellency na ono so the appointments why no one should have any cause to question why he made a decision to appointing A or appointing B to whichever position. The captain adwuma ne de e go so the hope he gives you hope is the hope for my
Boy. Honorable, the free budget no kakra. Who could do regional coordinating council who dey?
The regional coordinating council near campaign no. Near the Kenyan and TSA said ye ho etiano. And then maybe I say wo. And even before ye be appointment, soon as I'm your regional secretary. The minimum regional chairman the car call after handing over. You call on the 9th of January. And the call near call here baby president free and can bar Cobetna. Baby a regional minister betna na akwakoya afise film sem. MC ye ho videos, ye ho interviews bebre e de babontin. E de na as I speak with you. Me fifie, me am fie na ekwa adwuma no pa bia. President Amatim abaho ababehwe ho. Ye de ho report ni bibia so de amana. They are waiting the direction said they be able to put a whole in place. And so far a whole issues need a dozen. But you did one as well. And you still have to make sure say a Jumani Bakoso. Miria office on 29th of January. Na I was a Krura and Penifu dead on you to me too almost. Na I was a departments sectors be relevant for Ashanti's development biano. The right briefing and be able to act through. So I'm saying the first few weeks that was exactly what we were doing. Aside from that, if there were any problems that came up, we needed to intervene as early as possible. And Captain, you see, Region Nation, 43 MMDAs, you appointee mayor, you appointee DC, you appointee MC, and you are regional minister now. I was saying now keeping an eye over all the 43.
And over there, what do you say?
But there's a 43.
43.
And said the Etiano, memos, and no more BBA spending, and it has to come to your table for you to peruse and sign what sign a more approval and Diaco. One if you have a visa Makakoto. One now but try and kind you now consign BB. I dear bet you know. Nay, I can carry boom iron of a PP. And that one day the jail, and you have to do a lot of readings. And what I also noticed is some of the contracts, some of the contract certificates, if you want to and pictures, come, and so back form no, na juma na nkasa entisa. And the first contract certificate you buy, name say the shop, wokumewu. Me through car, eko hwe juma no ba bia wa ya kodru. Any baby a car, obesi sign certificate no. And for man, me too, sir, na mono. Afe, who say contractors ni be an uncommon start a Juma crash, a Juma see in areas of Makoji Canada, Dana say, I wasn't common year at the banner. Because him say, Oman, normal the certificate in the room anymore. I will take an extra step in making sure, say, I would then see it is helpful for your progress as a country. Yama Juma, no, I know Juma what. Metia, region no, my common I know him or boys or crobia so. I know him as our party structure or crubia so. It is a civil service Nimugra now by what they say, Obadish envelope Mudia say or more. Me party for now say Bibi Copani Begu, me president and Nimuason. Met me some more Makoshe. No more picture the Baba confirm me Jumakra over some signing home certificate amount. And I have adopted that because I answer Namiko approve certificates. Not that she be a Bacona, you will say minister ko approve certificate to be. I want you man any from one. Everybody be going in the but I mean, taking is our first instance of going down to check on the work done before signing the certificate. Now, boy, Mount Somashe, Ejumasi in some key areas. I'll keep monitoring. This is name your bar. About my pressure not to do an answer from. Said they be able to me, ama my more of the coordination and supervision instead of being on the field directly involved in most of the things. But I think so far so good. May I brand and now they are a hammer so in any way.
You have videos being near my free coordinating council by how bad the place was actually located. Describe it, mine.
I saw, and the place is in a sorry state. Presidential villa, a good minister's residence, a good. Said I'm initially.
Says what I hear.
Miss me if you feel a cordima. In the 6 weeks, I might have money now if you feel a call. And Miss Oyana Papa, I just remember say, me dread moon when my elite. They said the okay, say I said you know, you have to be on time to make sure so bit more clear as many as possible. And the acha by 7:20 number 50. Acha by 7:45. Na me wajum na me twen. O we ya me call ye no. I realize civil servants no do na ho a. Ebi wa oba adwuma at 10. E wo be 2 no as afi ho. And when a productive hour they contribute to government business na ketuwe bi. So what I decided to do is say at 8 I will be there assess nipa dodo aba. Mo amoma ye nyina mo ko chief director na mo man explanation as to why mamba adwuma. Me ye na say first time I call adwuma no. I remember clearly. Na as at 8 nipa na ba adwuma no mu no 30. New staff strengthening na over 117. And there's a half of cry and even one a quarter and na ba adwuma. Me started say you know fe ebu abekọ abesan ya say nipa ba 80 wo. Omo aka akiri no na omo tinya explain so we be a cleaners. Omo ba no papa be prepare and omo koyo be hwem na emu dodo na so eya no kwe. And the same thing na mayor with most of the district assemblies so are my visiting. Nti as is residents what there e ho ayebasa say dem di kan no ya set up committee no do more findings no more report. Nema me ensa na key omo check amaye how the place was managed in the past. So that one, we will be able to learn lessons from there and be able to hold people accountable for almost stewardship to their country. 2, I'm proposing how they want us to redevelop the place. So that at the end of the day, baby a president ba instead so be danko for hotel any de care can hono benya baby a buying there. Now one, at me ensure president security. Now that me ensure say a car you born hotels no esobeti. 3 years so put cost to near my own person and ever honor. Say, be I be let me just suppose because initial a year more the buyer no. Now, where's the car or the echo with regards to renovation? Then you can put up a new structure, crananka. So these are all issues are upper. We are juggling it, and I'm sure say we are entry up with a roadmap and a day fixing as you see.
Wow. So say the Hwase cry.
Oh, you say the Hwase. And the first thing I had to do was to restore security. And the whole security zone. What I realized is police if I was saying come a war on duty or honor. Because they honor good and they were not coming. Until watchmen for so I never was no to mother. And they say, okay, one, your police roster at every point in time, there are police teams out patrol a holding now. Yet me are clear how we do not never hobby baby. And I'm quiet to say quiet in everywhere. In the year 9, so I block some of the areas, matimi, I want me to 12 years. Baby, I name foot rows so I just within residents near the admin. Mama workers not cleaning home. And they say, no, how been say, compare any previous now. Different. There's that still, even after cleaning the name, after making sure say all these are done, you can still send the president in there. Say president about what you know, and almost every week be so me am making sure say me see for more said the honest say be BB say yeah I'll be able to get to know on time and be able to intervene accordingly. And the captain as is in some there them
enti ehwa na Osemen Saturday regional minister
enti omo ba afoforo no and say ho presidential villa no Kofo de CS His Excellency Donald Kofo and new bungalows never train, green ones, no, and His Excellency Mahama name knows a time no musi, and so. And this time in Nana account now. Honorable Peter and I fit now. Honorable Eriko Poku at now. And with Honorable Samoa Sapon now. His Excellency John Mahama now sort now. In 2012 to 2016, or maybe I want to know. 2017. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia bet now. What's in here? And if you 2017 but 2018, they are no more. And after 2018, no more abandoned space, no. And no mama will be. And you all the way to 2020, no will be anyhow.
Will be until
after 4 more, no 4 more for houses.
It's now no nothing. Also to the fee.
And one, I'm say Foreign Affairs Ministry. New building bureau State House. And I'm saying one and I actually be our
into Ofi Regional Coordinating Council Foreign Affairs for
Foreign Affairs done. Now Foreign Affairs done is become 170. As I am papa when me offer when you kakranti me person me born achi bebre
yes come here say yes kana de be you
we are na the pressure koba
Dabi yes no yes kana wo de be
in the state house on so sem bebre
nsem bebre say
it is not in a good shape. One ennua omni ye pono ne ade ni nyina kankare amana pro e wo ho e videos na ho me ma share da me call first day in office bibia me dey team no call no ma video bibia go me say dem crofo etie air condition ba kokra no ho ye adwuma
baby Onua regional
ba bia no mo see ho no ote no state house no air condition ba kokra no ho ye adwuma ho no e dan na nkasa mu nzo to e ba ho
say you
I doubt say no was at ho no so ebia na omo kan say say be quiet say o ebia just to say something to represent something but say dem can more of an infie no kwa ni munti am be say me twa na chi bebiri but in fact the management of state assets works and housing minister by am tenancy on this issue because say government works government housing all these fixed assets ni na no say to a larger extent or jurisdiction over it. And I have advised him because I'm not me young voter region minister so kasa. So on so have the same problem so that we can get a very strict measure to make sure say obia a day government fixed assets you have that responsibility of one keeping it as it is and handing it over in a similar condition to a year nipa obabetum. It may be by what I did say. RCC be a mambetono, won't take stock. Miss me team, private, almost won't take stock. No be keeping it there. Say next time the Baba come home, any dear order done. May a quantum national master and me as I'm on a chrono. Near who and I appreciate what I came to meet and what I am adding on and what I will be handing over to Nipa or Baby Dimadia. In fact, said your manager's space near very problematic. And because I can't hold them now, we are Chrono Crabble.
And they can
being kind of credible. Captain. No, what's a fireman? No, I don't know. And then when we are, I just want to, because I said a hard impact. But I'm sure some repayment. They are we will get.
Over there now, bit me, I need number one. Far, we are in Kocaine.
And to say I'm kind a team from presidency, but presidency president is Excellency John Mahama. Today you about 2 times after we be presidency. At the time you will be an opportunity to review the issues in the region are on top of the issue. No, we local government networks minister Omuswaba. And they've indicated their commitment to making sure say they better fix these problems. Budget in control budget yaba dem puntu obaino. I approve your parliament. I will engage them now. How I bet restore normalcy to the place. Kejetia, we have a lot of issues. And say mayor ni hontino. A German na be guma bobuano. It was a me banana within a week now. Wash it 3 times. And said na a whole problem so akwa no. Na akwa to say of an Ntim Fordjour. Nani mi aso aye dem because say yentimi mi phase 2 no. Enti yentimi nye decongestion kase bia wo ho to bring down the numbers wo Kejetia phase 1 no. And the first thing is I'm afraid contractors no to find out what challenges anti adwuma was enkoso wo na enkoso. Ana o mai hu say o funding problems nya de sika nkoma dedicate say nka yemfa phase 2 no em say sika no aban no mfa man and all that. Eti one na me frɛ local government minister. Eti me need di ho nkomo no say de ye ka no eno Krofro market ene Mamponten market. Sa market in some way key marketer e da santemaya komaso. Beyond that no so kra no yetumi awie bed decongest Kumasi central Kumasi no natimi aboa. And local government by minister by obaye no ye sat na Kejetia no so bio Krofro no so bio na Mamponten market no so bio. Nti Kejetia de adwuma hyase a omoto aso Kejetia phase 2 no and you be na contractors no obia e wo ho Krofro market akodi contractors bebre nsem because some of akofo na hyase wo hyase no abai bia ba kwa ya transiting between a lot of contractors. And see what I need to do, I start here meeting the contractors so that from a perspective, I'll be able to review contract, what really the details are, because Rambo style. Now the JJ, the command new person, now baby, here now the court, now judgment debt, if you want, and I want to know the exact contract terms. Then I'll be able to see those we should terminate and those maybe what's your fiscal more mona or much misako home. Janus, you go home. A year Mamfontein market and also review ya and also engage some few contractors a person or monsa and come. Na Kedetia phase 1 na ya sanitation na a problem. Electricity issues so na a problem or Kedetia hona. And access to the place. And fire issues. These are the 4 key issues. What do you notice here is almost 2 accounts, escrow account and an operational account. Escrow account near the uncommon rents, no war na a cookum. Sa account numuna a percentage, a debate loaner. It was a repay credit your project Nankasa. Sa percentage nibi near the man nanum, sa percentage nibi the mark credit KMA, sa percentage nibi nanke de erane a year creditiano. Near Saudi insurance. Unfortunately, after we open, we say since 2021, we insure credit facility. Then BBC.
Hold on. KJT and insurance. So what happened to the money now? Jomami Chato was said they insure KJT.
Almost 15 million. I'm not blown on other things.
Mahama Eko with Jessica say find insurance 15 million Ghana cedis no mama find insurance indicate your market in insurance boy
enti amasa award the contracts am with cleaning with security with these issues enti what happen is say escrow account no omu di musika ma then Ministry of Finance dey so amago control sa account to say omuntimi nkomu bio and omuntimi nkomu bio no so ntino omun say na sika wo mu no matimi dey running space no and what they do is say bosume no so a na electricity bill aba no ma gina dey fo no so age bill no omo bo obi atua wi a is there some this can go to light bill no dom this can to contractors na omo subcontracting these issues no with no eka and the MC last week you obi ko twa light no ti na no na me wo ye be so na no you are no more friends say Kedetia na the SNE omatwa light mu. I had to engage the ECG regional boss and have a payment plan with them. Say be enti be am beti enka. Ye be a huge shake up e wo Kedetia. Ye be a huge shake up o Kedetia because ye tena ho ma ne man ko so see ya ye be wi no na ye de nsa akohye dem from. Enti captain moti enka was akwade so na ma hu say ye pe Kedetia ni ye die. En say de ye ko no ya onye bibia amfa ho a ye be wi no na Nkihuyanka so de na kachi enti ebe shakeups kese pa wo Kedetia after that any mu no efizu ho ba ni na na ma be stations e wo e ho no mu load tachiman car sunyane car cars e wo dana me ko ho na me instruct ma omo clear ho eti I want to thank the regional police commander enti ene o ma clear zoo animo ha ka about 2 of the other entrance so was it me clear said the bear if BBC kran say stampede nkofo free mu aba omo bibia ni ho be obstacle amom ebi me so omo erect containers around Kedetia new containers are air blockade ebi o so mutwa fence na de aye ho na nsa na omatimi a operate store na captain am kan se me nchiro edadifo no makwa say minus said omo omadwumani abai bia ba omo party cards me no enti
what's it edadifo no minus these 2 groups are we do omo adwuma na say but who obs buy no omo party cards me no enti ndis ba or NPP ba or NPP ni ba no de chewo mo ye say we minor no claims we NDC ni na bujan say mining adwuma no why for how longer day to the be no every day back into the previous government ni bujan say I don't be NDC ni no e dey na utimi ko share forest mu at this particular point in time we jadini wa ba be station e wo zoo animu ha
You go council your NDC ni. Udo party card by time ben why station of Jumano. Who was at the time why station of Jumana? It predates back. And what I have noticed yourself, Among said there's a change of government to be as well NDC just to find cover. And we NDC here, I'm not sure so open in Bonia my excellency no mama. So you will do the right thing. And I NDC ni person you know I do my campaign who braye and send a gun of who your mobile ba. You will not do things that would jeopardize the chances or the future of the party. DSA. Say, oh, Kejetia. Now, we are dear MY, yea, money, enim, NDC color, Ekni MPP color. And for be a mammy office, and I can say, we end this in Ninti, Kawaii container, Cassio, near down this war. It is not done anywhere. Open Jumanaya as a government, other opportunities, other avenues. And I just want to send this out there. So we'll be a OT. We all NDC card, or MPP card, or your government. We are there for Ghanaians. And it doesn't matter or political affiliation. If you are doing the right thing, we will support you to do the right thing. But if you are doing the wrong thing, don't think say you can hide under political colors and then be left to do whatever pleases you. It my instructor say containers only no money fuel. There were what they call at the Shema Honey or Monclair's containers in fuel. Senipan also end this in your end this in Chemia, now me a regional secretary, my regional minister. Now I call you near my dear and was here ever brain. And I'm just putting in the said the bear more high in Cofor Banners or more castle home, the MNDC for no more years here. You will have that perspective, say, as it is now, MPP da form, and to be any best way idea or because of MPP. Obia Ben address will Johnny. No other seeking for NDC cover. These issues no one settled. I'm sure say we should be able in the shake-ups here by Okejetian. I'm sure say we should be able to restore some decency. I was our space, no. Na intimi more na yema menum edwadi intimi koso.
Insurance no yebeye.
Yebeye. New management ba enche. Njomo tax no. Many finance ministry so I engage you on the escrow account. Say be on bit me embargo no ni ahwe. Because if we say omo started running holding na Canada omo ntimi ntua capital bampo. Ana nanke ya sa sika no. Ana mpo growth market redevelopment na hinge on sika nkombena or escrow account no etimi de no ayensi achi buy up sika de aboa growth market no. Any even phase 2 no. Aha. Enti phase 1 no as it is no na agoye basa no obi kura ma sika for crop from na phase 2 a na odetwe no na captain there ya ne say nyema ya ka ho asem nyina wo mo stronghold o enti ma nyo stronghold kura na nsensem bebrebe ene regions aka there pani ko he but you see as I kept saying say only wo yire to ho a e ma wo yire no enye na address wo pakene nyema akọ abusuafo ho ansa na obeye de ye wo fie as okuna baye de ye wo fie MB tena ase ma Ashanti mantem tinta suko call de kire wo mo na afi no be de se de ampa ene ya ka echi de ye say abaye obeba odi mpuntu bebre Ashanti no eno na se mahu say that is what the region is looking for. The region has grown beyond partisan politics. They are looking clearly at the oba odi mpuntu ba. Next I can see that say beto aba we na 7 seats in the region, 33.1% of votes ewo. The Ashanti Yamaye 2024 and this year news of power. And until now, young person about to Ashanti region national. We go dia and I said you will in document Nasia and Tunku. NPP and Kassing can do move from Macrano. A baby drew him one more thing does coach or more. And just a way end this now, but not 1 year. They can equally show you the red card. Young person been a red card or Ashanti region. And until near bra. Irrespective of how bad NPP Amanaye in the past 8 years now. We are ready to restore and make sure say the garden city no be found in Tomapa aside the front.
I don't have any question to ask again.
Thank you.
Your final words.
No, so obi a wotie me bia no pen. Mo amoba, mo fa ase. Honorable Dr. Frank Amoakohene, Dr. Nkaba Kosa aka ho. Na madam ase, am say the past 6 weeks I'm starting mo year adwuma. Me man ho kwai no mutimi ba e de afutuo ene adwenkyere ba e beboa ma Ashanti region afa ne ntomapa e de afra. Asati a sa na monyi masati a me tu a I'm saying I don't intend to relent on that effort. And my doors are always open. Bibi a yadwin mpo a yadwin chire beboa ma Ashanti afa ne ntoma pefra no. Eno na ye papa His Excellency John Mahama de maba say memra meye nema Ashanti region emfa ne ntoma pa infra. What I can assure the good people of Ashanti region is that we're going to work hard to make sure say as a region no bibi a far region impuntu ho about education, about health, about agric, about infrastructure, roads. Any bibi a de adwuma bre to mamophobia no. And na yema de so a maga yema adwen say me de mu nyina together ye be na aboa na ma regional konanim na de animunyam abrekurura and His Excellency the President. So my doors are always open and I want to continually seek for more support any more paibo say mo nyam badom na yen na ntimi mu ana kru no ntimi fa ne ntoma pa efemfra madam nyina ma se obi a onya abre na wotie anopai na me nhira mo.
His name is Frank Amoakohene, NDC Regional Secretary. Mpacho when you resign?
Enti omunya my directive say party executives are in appointments in resign.
And I said directive
be in my
and anyway, whether you resign or not, in your part Ghana Mbrabia. Mbrabian wait here and there's no problem. His name is Frank Amoakohene. He's a medical doctor. And they was a member and you also member
oh can obey you.
Oh GH boy sorry
JME Mahama oh can obey you.
All right. Yada waba. Yeba twaso.
Hey, Samuel. I quench you once. Okay, young quiet.
Thank you. I feel young as well, not just look, but I feel.
What do you do to keep?
I put worries away. I don't hate anybody. I don't bear grudges. I don't worry about the past. I eat well once a day, mostly.
Once a day?
Yeah, I play golf about 3-4 times a week. I exercise in the gym once a week. I sleep at least 7 hours every day. And I get loads and loads of laughs.
You drink a lot of water too?
A lot of water, at least 3 liters of water a day. So at least I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, because you know your health is your #1 thing. Without good health, forget about everything else. Money, whatever, is all gone if you don't keep your health straight.
And after health, what's your greatest passion?
Education. Acquire a lot, build capacity, know about the world, and as much as possible. So read. Unfortunately, now we don't read social media, but I still read. And of course, have a mind, positive mind of learning. Now my mind is about learning from the kids, especially when it comes to IT and these social media gadgets and things like that. I get my grandchildren to show me where to go, how to do it, you know, part of history. But you need to live. And I want to live for a long time.
How long?
So long as I'm healthy, I wouldn't mind being 90.
Was this great enterprise, UT Bank and then UT Financial Services and then UT Holdings, where did the nucleus...
When I was born, I hear I was very ugly. my grandma...
You hear from who? Your mother's enemies?
My grandma, even when I grew up, she would always say that, if you see who finds out, you know. So that's the first thing. I was very, very bad. And you would say I was truant. I risked and chain me to a pillar and then put rice and margarine. I love that. So I'll cry as much as possible and then eat the rice and sleep. And then people will ask him, you are trying to raise an animal. He's not an animal, he's a human being. My dad will always say, I prefer an animal that's alive than a human being that is dead. And that's part of my childhood. So
you were restless, you were always moving about.
Completely restless. And I started drinking beer at the age of 4.
What?
Yeah.
Who gave it to you?
Well, my dad, but something happened. You know, my dad caught me siphoning the little drops under the bottles of beer they had finished drinking. And he said, what is that about? I said, I want to drink some of the beer you guys have been drinking. And he said, okay, you come. He sat me down, opened a fresh bottle of beer. Those days there were no fridge, so it's warm. And he poured me, I didn't know I was learning for myself, from my dad. I'll do all the bad things, then get into exams time, I'll dedicate the last 2 weeks and learn with candlelight and sleepless tablets just for my dad. But I was naturally brilliant. I didn't have to learn much to get a good grade.
I'm made to understand you're always one of the youngest in class.
Almost. I got to Asiedu College at the age of 12. I finished O-level 17. Finished A-level 19. Finished university 22 in 1974.
What did you study at uni?
School of Administration, accounting major.
Accounting major?
Yeah. I'm a chartered accountant, so that's been my path.
Let's talk about when you were in university. What was school life like?
Oh, wow. It's a far cry.
Because your disco life is very well documented, so I'll leave that for
It's
today.
a far cry from what university students are experiencing now. I mean, in the first place, I was written to P.O. Box 32 Kocaine, admitted to University of Ghana School of Administration. No connection, nothing. And then went for orientation, and we started. And we had 3 square meals a day: breakfast, lunch, dinner, with ice. And it was 100 cedis a year. It was plenty of money. And one thing for you to know is plenty of money. When I had my millions, I said the first one-seat charter taxi to those days Continental Hotel, which is now Lancaster, used to be Golden Tulip. Buy one bottle of Akufo-Addo, we used to call the short. Buy a packet of Rothmans. Finish my one bottle beer. Back to school, 1 cedi.
Wow.
Everything cost 1 cedi. So 100 cedis was a lot of money. And of course, we had all sort of amenities, hall tutors, course tutors, all sort of things to aid you. And life was very, very rosy. And
so university life was a good life.
And most people, by the time you finish, you've got a job, So, and you had one room to yourself. I mean, I was in Sabah Hall 3rd year, and I had a whole room with balcony, everything to myself. So the balcony was really extra. You just go and stand there and shout to the person at the other end. So that is the kind of life we had at the university. Very easy, accommodating, easy to learn. We used most of the time to fool. I was obscene in Sabah Hall because I spent a lot of time fooling in Sabah Hall. But ended up with a second class all the same. And those days, second class wasn't easy to come by. I remember our time, sometimes only one person probably would get a first class and a few people would get second class, upper, and then you'd have a lot more lower and third class.
Did the class you made matter?
See what kind of class you had. So yes, it would matter. But in real life, it didn't. Because I've seen a lot of people who had, my mates and those who are not, had third class, and they even turn out to be maybe achievers more than those who had first class. Because our mate who had first class probably went ahead and lectured in some university. And I have people, my mates who did lower and third class, who are really big. And I turn out to be who I am. So she's been a very successful person. Now, if I acquire worldly things like the education I have, the good health that I have, the love with that, to impact the world positively. You have to do it honestly, because if you don't do it honestly, you cause the opposite of impacting the world.
If there was somebody you could look at today and say, okay, young man, if you're not sure, look at this one. This is a shining example of success. What names immediately come to mind?
It's quite wide. In academia, in priesthood, everywhere. The dedication, the honesty, and the passion with which they do it with the intention of impacting people's lives and making them foundation. And I said, yes, that is it. What we lack in this country is that we have a wrong mindset. And that mindset doesn't allow us to get good leaders or enough of them. And the problem of Ghana and Africa is about leadership.
It's the problem everywhere in the world.
Yeah, so I said, but Africa's problem is huge. So I said, if the problem is with leadership, I need to cause a change. Now, if you know your problem, you should go and see an expert. So if you are sick, you need a medical doctor.
Sure.
If you have bad teeth, you have to see a dentist from the skies. They need to be created. So our problem is we have to create leaders who have good values and mean well, with the right values like be God-fearing, respect everybody, respect the rules and laws, love people, and so on and so forth. That's the kind of leaders that we want. Because if you look at some of the things that our leaders do, it's the opposite of what I'm talking to young people, talking to some corporate executives, and then we have a flagship program that the PK Mugabi scholars, where I take some scholars 20 every year and take them through 1 year of intentional mentoring and boot camp, and I'm with them and we do Zoom calls and things, and I allocate to them special mentors so that they will really earn the values and come out as the right kind of leadership. And I tell you, I can sleep better. Because I talk to some of these people, the youth that I'm talking about.
green, man. Wow. We kind those days in front of him. Abra bafu for now parenting edi ono enkwada eba. We did one corner na me put some say. Na ebi but I'm check. We bonded as colleagues at the dining hall, the dormitories, classrooms. It's just say, me na kan ye bomo prekope. But the question is, and now we hey, na squad you were here. Olege were here. Floozy. Any boys in here, where you stay? If you school, no, you are buying the coin. If you move to coin, if you move to university, if you move to Abrabon 70, you have to retire to the villages. We are here to reunite you and ensure that we can help each other. But before that, St. Louis, Ola, Wegehi, Holiko, Preset, CTV Agaroma, the most program neighbor, Family and Friends Reunion. Join me, Dr. Kuki Anna, on Family and Friends Reunion as we share memories and experiences in life, only on CTV, Ghana's #1.
Ghana's #1.
Those who know, and those who learn gets to know too. The leaders, the innovators, the decision makers, and the keen learners. They watch Master of Game. And this Monday on Master of the Game with King Kwesi J. Dakwa, only on CTV, Ghana's #1. Our special guest is 3 in a row presenter.
I was teaching accounting and general paper. And that was straight from school. But that was cut short. Now, I'll tell you the funniest thing. When I was doing a crack at that time, I was irresponsible, indisciplined.
What do you mean?
I mean, my pay then was probably 7 days, even though it was enough money to take me through the month, because I was gambling and I'll go for night clubbing and all sorts of things.
A teacher?
Yes. So by the 7th, depending on the turn of events, I'm probably broke. Maybe I'll borrow a bit of money and then I'll win a bit of money. But then I was sleeping, getting home after 2 p.m. every day for sure. Sometimes 4 a.m. After 2 a.m. Sometimes 4 a.m. One time I go to the class, things like that. And the food wasn't enough because you are constantly wasting energy. And when you feel like maybe you haven't been to the toilet, for lack of a better word, for maybe 3-4 days, and you feel, oh, maybe I can go, and you come out of your room to the toilet, you have to run. By the time you run there, it's gone. The feeling is gone, so you run back. It's very interesting experiences, you know. And as I said, the food is not enough, but then it's to break you down, break the civilian in you down, and rebuild you as a different person, an officer and a gentleman. It's a fantastic transformation.
What was the hardest time you faced in the army?
The hardest time, a lot of it. You know, I'm very...
A lot of it?
Oh, yeah, I'm very controversial. I think one of the toughest one was, and it's in my book again, when my roommate, I had to assist my roommate to run away from military academy. Because my roommate couldn't. And when he was trying to steal his own egg in the dining room. And then one senior cadet shouted at him and said, "Hold on, officer, you are stealing your own egg." And he said, I mean, enough is enough. So I agreed.
You mean stealing your own egg?
To go. But the interesting thing is that in the night, when we're going for a road run, and his name was mentioned, because it was dark, that's about 4:30ish. His name was mentioned, and I responded for him, and then I also responded for myself. And we packed his things, I helped him pack his things to what we used to call, I forgot the name now, Mango Grove. Well, packed the thing in the Mango Grove.
Which camp is this?
This is Military Academy, Teshi. Now, he was supposed to leave before we came, but by the time we came, dawn has broken. When we got back, he was asleep.
Oh, no.
He wasn't ready for the day's work. His goods, his whole... Then they drove me back. And after I had to go for interview and recount how it all happened and things like that, they want to just to be sure that he's run away. And interesting enough, some of the instructors love it when cadets run away. It's like it was tough for somebody to run away. So that was my toughest day. I mean, everyone was after me because my roommate ran away. But otherwise, I also had good moments.
Did you get into any trouble?
Oh yeah, a lot of it. In fact, I recounted a few of the instances in my book.
Which one of them?
This one, the very first.
The
UT
story.
Yeah, where I moved. That's why the cover has got a civilian and a military man.
Oh yes.
That is going from civilian to military. So it got some interesting stories about the military academy in there. I was there for 8 months. And then I got commissioned as a lieutenant. And lieutenant, I was posted to Arakan Barracks 5 Battalion for battalion training because I went with a degree and to go to the pay office. But then you go for battalion training, and after that you go to your mother unit. After that, I went to pay office as my mother unit. And I was quite lucky. After I'd been to pay office, paymaster, gone for YO's course and a few other things, I had a scholarship to go to the UK. And I went to the UK for 1.5 years and came back as a chartered accountant. At the time, I was the only chartered accountant in the Ghana Armed Forces. And I came back after the first rolling school, 1979. That's when I came back.
What did you feel about a coup, being a military officer yourself?
You see, and before that, I must say, I love the Army. The Army is a very, 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 very great organization. It's where you can train the best leaders, without doubt. Because you're talking about training people to ensure or engender trust for them to give up their life to follow you, the leader, because they believe you can take them to war and bring them back. And you, the leader, also have to be responsible for your men and trust that with them you can go and win your wars or perform your duties and come back safely. So the training is fantastic. And in the Army, it's not difficult. You know what you're supposed to do. You know what is right and what is wrong. And the system works perfectly.
So how do we have an army like that in a country where we have people polluting the waters because a few want gold?
But it's not the Army that is in charge of that. Typical Army person is in the barracks. And the orders should come.
And when the commander-in-chief fails, we leave it to the electorate. The
exactly.
army still stays in the
army states should not even come in. But it's even worse now because it's not just that we left the army, we've even gotten the army people protecting some people are here who are doing galamsey or illegal mining. So now the soldiers have come to know gold and know money.
But if you're saying the army must not be involved because you're in the barracks, how come they're now protecting the people who are polluting the waters?
Because the politicians and the leaders are putting them there. Soldiers won't go in.
So this thing where
soldiers will not go.
Zombie or zombie must be true then. Because
yes,
if they say go, you go. But now, even though it's bad.
Yeah. Of course. That's what a soldier is about. You know, when I was a lieutenant in 5 battalions, I had only one civilian attire, one batakari. Everything that I had was my uniforms and things like that. Batakari is just in case I have to go to town, then I'll put a batakari on my trousers so I don't look like a soldier. Sack, and it's your pillow. And you are sitting in front of your company with your head on your haversack, ready to be called to any place in this world. So that when they say move, you don't know when you are next coming. And that is a typical soldier. You live your life for the country, and the country also takes care of the head of state. Yeah, you don't. He may suggest, but if that's what he wants, yes, because he represents the people, and he's the commander-in-chief. You know? So, what I was trying to say is that when we had this Lawrence era where the army had been turned upside down and generals and colonels or whatever were were. And the reason why I left was because I was a chartered accountant. And most of my mates, good professional soldiers, that was their business. They didn't have what I had. I had chartered account which I could use in the civilian life. So even though I didn't have a plan B, I decided that, listen, I don't like the army anymore. So I will step out and come what may, I think I will survive because I had a qualification. That's how come I left. But with every coup, and I'll say this, with every coup, the very good soldiers will probably get killed defending the order of the day, or go into exile, or I think I need you. I have to be very, very careful. Maybe your party is in power, so how can I come and discuss with you? So I think a coup is very unlikely because it's been politicized and also because the soldiers have come to know money. Someone told me this, I don't have any proof, that a senior officer in Ghana Armed Forces has bought a place or bought a place at AU Village for the girlfriend. I mean, I had only Batakari and nothing else. How can we have an army which has really gone that bad? That soldiers now know money. I mean, soldiers are not supposed to know money. I mean, everywhere, soldiers' money is, I mean, it's a simple life, dedicating your life to the country and serving your country and things like that.
So once you choose to serve, you must forget about selfishness. And
exactly. And the worldly matter has been politicized. Everything. The judiciary, of course, the MPs or their own parties, the institutions, the head of state, we're talking about it probably. I mean, how is that possible?
How can you even know that many people who are really that competent?
So everything is politics. The interesting thing is, when it comes to Africans, to develop, we have a proverb which says, "Akoko obene mami, enunya bebesre." Life. Now, if you look at the English equivalent to it, it says, "Early bird catches the worm." It means hard work, but we don't go by that. So we find everybody gravitating toward the politician or the leaders that be, and people see me and they said, "Hey, Kofi, have you gone to greet your friend?" I said, "Friend, and I'm happy he's won and he's the president, but you don't rush. I'm sure people, I'm happy he's won and he's the president, but you don't rush. I'm sure people were probably, up to now, probably queuing to go and show their face that they are this." I think it's difficult for him. I pity him, because people don't want to do things for themselves. They just want to hang on and get something out of it.
But talking about observing the Constitution in leadership, so too we must observe good practice in whatever field of endeavor we are in. There's been a little conundrum lately where the president is appointing CEOs, but he's appointing CEOs in advance of appointing the boards that should man those companies. What do you say to that as somebody who has run an enterprise for years? And what do you say to that as somebody who has run an enterprise for years? And what do you say to that in the construct of corporate governance? Because if you're appointing the CEO even before your board has been constituted, when in actual fact it is the board which should be appointing the CEO, in future, when there is a problem, wouldn't the CEO be telling the board, "Are you appointed? I'm also appointed. Who are you to come and tell me what to do?"
You're right, but it's become the practice. Because the CEOs, of course, they run the institutions, and it should be on the advice of the board or direction of the board. But the CEOs are the most powerful people. And the politicians want the people that they want to control and manipulate directly. So then they appoint the CEO. And in addition to that, appoint the board. But it's been a norm for all the parties that come to power. It is not right.
The problem with it being the norm is the bigger problem.
Yeah,
because you would think that if your predecessor...
It's not easy. I'm not a politician. I haven't gone around trying to gather votes and kind of, but it is not an easy thing. So it's easier for us to sit here and say that, let them appoint the board secured. And we here can't complain about it. So I don't think we should go that way. That is the norm. That's what suits them. And they have won the power. Therefore, let them do what is right. But then it depends what each leader wants to do. But it's difficult to say that you're going to leave the appointment of CEOs who are the who goes there. I think after they've been through all these problems, they want to know who goes there.
I'm interested in knowing how you appointed your staff. You started with 3 people. You gave a loan in how many hours?
48.
48 hours. You changed the lending industry in Ghana because of that. How did you appoint your staff to ensure that your company was efficient and effective?
Well, I had an HR, we had an HR policy headed by, of course, the head of HR, and I gave her the full powers, but as per the HR policies and everything. And I didn't interfere in it. In actual fact, the people that you may say I influenced, all I did was to write on their CVs, that is people that I knew, and I would say, invite this person for interview when there's appropriate vacancy. So I have helped you to reach the interview stage and go and prove yourself. When it comes to the very top people, select someone, but never ever interfere in it, because it's about merit. I believe in merit more than whom you know. And one thing is, once you interfere, and the few times that I did, or I didn't go through the full process, it had to bite me in the back, in the butt. I remember I had a friend that I thought was the best hard worker and things, and I came, I told HR, and I told the board members, I said, listen, this guy can do this job for us. So he just went through it because I had said, you know, and he cost us a lot of money. Because nobody could touch him because they said he was my closest friend, and he used that to exploit the system. So it's good to just go by the system. I believe now, as I sit here, everything in me is about systems. Policies, rules, this, that, whatever the people put together to guide them in their development and protection and how to go forward must be respected by everybody. And if you go contrary to that, you should face the sanctions. It's not difficult at all. See, the problem we have in Africa is that there are too many distractions, things that pull you away from doing what is right. Because we have our own system, as against the normal system that you expect. Because if you're running the company, you have your own family and friends. That's the first problem you have, the interference. Oh, Kofi, my brother, Kofi, your own cousin, da, 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 and so on and so forth. And it's easy to say, don't succumb to it. But in reality, the ordinary Ghanaian can't say no to it. Because, listen, maybe your big brother took care of you through school. And now you started some small business. And your big brother now says, take this guy. How can you say no?
No, I'll find a job for him elsewhere.
No, most people can't say no. Because you know you owe your life and everything to your big brother.
Job for him.
Listen, for most people, it's difficult for them to say no. I have a cousin who was looked after with family money. They sold family lands to pay his fees through to university. When he became an engineer, a metallurgist, at some point they called him and said, we use the family money to take care of you, and now people are encroaching on our farms and everything. We don't have any educated person, so you have to come and become a Busiapeni. And he left, retired early, and became a Busiapeni. So what I'm saying is that the influence of these institutions, yes, traditional institutions, it weighs heavily on a lot of companies. That's why most companies actually fail. You've got the friends and family one, then you've got the pastors one, the churches one. Some people are so attached to their churches and their pastors that their pastor becomes the head of procurement, the pastor becomes the head of HR, pastors tell them what to do and how the company is going to go. I've had people sit in front of me looking for a loan, and I asked them a question about what he's going to do, and he said, Mr. Amoakohene, pastor. I said, tell your pastor to come and take the loan himself. You don't qualify for the loan. I mean, so if the pastor says, take such a person, they can't say no. Or sack this person, they can't say no. The same goes for our traditional elders and things like that. Some people even leave the company. They leave the company and become bushapeni or what do you call it, Nkosohene, and all sort of things, and the company suffers. Then, of course, you've got politicians also controlling company and deciding which companies should succeed and which company they don't like and therefore should collapse.
I was on a meeting with a few fellow CEOs recently, and we're talking about government appointments. And one of them says, Kwesi, you know very well that some people who are being appointed, but for a government appointment, will never be even a deputy head of any department anywhere in that. He says, it looks like when we have state institutions, we just leave the state institutions that belong to all of us at the mercy of people who we know are not fit to run them, just because there's something called a political appointment. And then he started naming some of the companies, and I said, why don't you write an article about it? He says, Kwesi, it's an exercise in futility if I write an article about it, because nobody's going to do anything about it.
It even becomes an enemy.
An enemy to who?
To the political party.
Why?
Because you are criticizing their people.
But it's the truth.
But that's...
When I criticized people, I became an enemy.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Okay, that's right. But you have a different heart. Some people can't stomach it. I mean, it's true, but listen, we should try. I try to understand the politicians. I can't imagine what they've been through. I know they've been through a lot, and they have to do a balancing act. If you look at appointments this government, President Mahama is doing, I think he's doing a complicated balancing act, but I like it. He's putting some people with merit. Why there's the merit, or the people have the merit in the party, then he gives them the position. Where the person is really popular with the party and the foundation of the party, he gives a little bit to them too. And then, of course, he's not faithful that, he's not giving all the positions to them. So it is a difficult thing. Once they win the power, some people, it's their business. It's not politics. The politics is their business. So they put in their lot, and therefore, when you come to power, you must take care of us because it is our party.
If you can't appoint me, appoint my nephew.
Yeah. Now you're talking. So we have to understand. Yeah? No, it will make winning difficult. But I think if we make the right changes and start empowering the institutions, talking about institutions, one institution that really, really we have to look at is the judiciary. Because you see, the judiciary is so important and so powerful. If you look at our coat of arms, what we are talking about is freedom and justice. It's the only institution that's mentioned in our coat of arms. And the judiciary is causing us so much problems. And they're not letting it go to court. Your time is being wasted. In actual for your life is being wasted. I tell people the most important resource every living thing has is time. When your time is finished, it means you are dead. Now, when your case goes to court and it stays there for 10 years, 20 years, even debt collection, I was sitting on debt collection for 8 years, if not 10. When you waste somebody's time, you know what I call it? You committed a percentage of murder. Because murder is when you end the person's life completely. Now, if you take 2 hours, so for some reason, the government decides that UT Bank must go under, right? So they collapse the bank.
Must go under.
Yeah. In fact, the IMF had instructed them or had a part to play. But the point is that the bank goes under. I had left, at the time they collapsed the bank, I had left the bank 20 months, almost 2 years. Then they filed charges against me.
What are the charges?
That I moved money from. What happens is that they orchestrate the court and the charges in such a way that not only have they collapsed my bank and destroyed the UT brand and therefore a suspected criminal, your words don't get far. In fact, nobody will even want to do business with you openly. People don't even want to associate with you because and that's what I've been through for about 8 years.
8 years.
Yes. So, in relation to the Opunike thing, it's taken away from you, and now they have to silence you too, so they keep you in court.
So by keeping you in court, you can't speak because the case is in court.
It's in court.
And then?
And then you are a suspected criminal. And it's the state versus Prince Kofi Amoakohene. And
how do the people who instigate this benefit? Because you know the thing about stupidity is that you cause somebody harm, but you don't benefit either.
But
that is stupidity.
But that is it's typical of most black people. They envy you. They are happy.
How many people lost their job when UT went down?
At the time UT, let's say in 2012, UT was employing directly over 2,500 people.
And you know, in Ghana, everybody who's employed helps 10 to 15 people.
So, you know, and they're looking at maybe Kofi Amoakohene. They're not looking at all the things that you're talking about. And they can see.
When we come back, I want to talk about what it is Kofi Amoakohene did. Did he date somebody's lady? Did he take meat out of somebody's mouth? Did he prevent somebody from getting the full amount of loan money he was requesting? Why was he such a target? Why was his bank closing these banks? Then they would have spent saving the banks and the government taking shares in it for Ghana, our motherland. Right after this on Master of the Game.
Apostle Francis Oduo World Outreach Ministry akawo ho biom the School of Ministry anyame enam Apostle Francis Oduo so nyame adon wo so ana wo da eso ene yisrem kire se nyame aton sa fraw amanyame adwuma ana mpo se wo nyame sumu dada nanso unim adom kura ewa wo so ane na akwanya beda ho ma wo se woni the School of Ministry ebesua de enti wo ba chew na wo feeder School of Ministry Bemau a boarding credibility say international certificate in ministry and international diploma in ministry.
Start the training now.
Evergreen memories. Wow. Look at those days in front of him. Abraya buffer from now parenting, Eddie or more and Quada Eba. It's now one corner and me put some for say. And a baby. But I'm check. It's baby. We bonded as colleagues at the dining hall, the dormitories, classrooms. It's just a but the question is
of the loans and things like that. Therefore, we needed liquidity support, which we went to Bank of Ghana. But even the liquidity support was granted when I had left. But I saw that we were having a problem, and I couldn't solve it, and I felt it could be me, because I'd been a CEO from inception. So I said, listen, this is the time to bring in a new pair of hands and eyes to come and try and change whatever I'm missing here. So I had put also in place a restructuring plan with Bank of Ghana and everything, and we're talking about injecting new capital with new investors and a whole lot of things in a document. So I didn't see it coming. But again, I wasn't a CEO, but I was on the board, and I had gone to Kocaine weekend as usual. And then 6 a.m., people from the Bank of Ghana and the police and the press, what's happening? And I called my daughter and I said, you are not aware what's happening? I said, what is it? And I said, the government said they closed down UT Bank. It was a shock, really, but I said, well, I had not anticipated this. So I drove back to Accra and I tried getting in touch with Bank of Ghana to say why and how come you acted like this whilst we're still talking about restructuring plan and investors and all that. Any answers up to today. So, to your question, why they had to close it, the answer lies with them.
You still don't have an answer?
I still don't have an answer.
All you know is they're prosecuting.
2.2 billion to collapse it.
Who signed that?
Must be the Governor Bank of Ghana. And of course, the Minister of Finance.
Because he reports to somebody.
Yeah. You know, and the point is, common sense approach. If somebody owes you 800 million and you spend 2.2 billion to make sure they don't exist, I don't get the rationale behind it. And in the whole exercise, and it's not yet finished, there are still a lot of financial institutions that are not viable. The government figure is about 25 billion. And I think the total assets for all these banks that they close cannot be 10 billion. So you ask yourself, where
did the money go?
Yeah. You know?
So there are a lot of questions.
And then not only did we lose money as a country, we lost jobs, we lost service.
You felt that this was a persecution and it was planned destruction of your enterprise that you're told.
It looks very much like that because it doesn't make sense in any other way. I mean, why? A whole lot of things that I don't want to even think about it, but at the time, nobody was prepared to talk to me. And even after, and this is very interesting, even after the bank had been taken, I go to Ochenye's place to dance because I'd been invited and I was happy. The dancing, what it cost me, the week after the dancing, you won't believe it.
Tell me about that.
So
I know about it, but tell the world about it.
So I was invited to Ochenye's 15th anniversary or 20th anniversary, one of them. And I went late and I went alone and I got there and I greeted from president, vice president, their wives and everybody. Everyone was there. And they gave me a small table here on the side, gave me some champagne. And then Pat Thomas' band was playing. I mean...
And you love your music and dance.
And you know, the thing is, then I said, one side,
exactly.
You also got your feet. Sabi Saudi, and you're by force. So I was so happy for the Ochenye female vocalist.
To use Safari, Zoom Flex, live on Ghana's #1. With Zoom Flex, you can join the fun wherever you find yourself via Zoomer. Ella, just shake the body. God, it's Friday. #1 with the man them DJ Last Week Official. We say, Ola, Ba, Wo.
CTV, Ghana's #1.
2 days ago, I had a discussion with a fine gentleman who speaks beautifully, dresses well, very well educated. But I couldn't help but use some words that my son had previously used for a classmate of his. Some people are wise, but you are other.
Thing.
I thought that was a German thing because the word is German. It's called Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is where you enjoy the calamity of others.
Yeah, but we do. Most people, most Ghanaians.
No, we don't have a word for it in our language.
Regional Minister,
Kobia would di campaign Nechibia no, utie budget, you know, tie campaign no, and now Kai campaign in Sema, His Excellency Mahama Kaya, which means a campaign in Sema, Ghana for Eso Mua and Motuaba, Edema, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And no one Juma Pepe no Baye, and our Parliament House. Nti, Matieti pa calls be so many free from no say budget no, Bibia than Aquamua. Asante Mantema list, me regional minister or hodie. Omasomu ya, you say, Ebe Boama crew and fan into my prefer.
On the budget today, honestly, and I pay me can say it's not because me pay my hammer seventy. And I start to force and me crew intra. But in this Fourth Republic, budget when you could do by redo first budget as a finance minister, but we could have redo the answer.
I reflected with the hopes and aspirations. Mr. Mammy be framing. You have a campaign now, ni whom be I say, oh, and this be free as it is. And this budget, Mammy, I'll be what to 10 or so tea. See, I'm passing this between man and interim. Now, no can just say, Otumfo is on over free, I'm any kind of nature. And now, over budget allocation for free SHS. Way more than the MPP can normally because you identify problems on where person they solve it. And there was this care call and we do need to solve especially on the answer. If you catch your man and say, one, and crying we SS now, also motoaso. And this SS school fees no cry want me and Pierre, and then I just say university there and tertiary university. And as part of your campaign message, near catch and say, oh, first year no. It's excellency Mama promises to be free. No, so as I'm ready more rem, I buy no to me near the cake and budget you are making provision for a first year tertiary students o kwa won't you here biom no mo so how you say ya man obi o ha bia no won san
na then mo ka say kamo be between 250 to 300 million Ghana cedis but mama so 400 million as somebody be ka ho
say who assess the number of students enter tertiary na a double because of say ya bie SS no at that level.
Okay.
And to hear any projection now, you see old figures now, you may get it wrong.
Okay.
Because number not addable. And you percent, your movie, your percent cranberry SS no market that level. We need to make sure say we more access to as many as possible. And until you increase the budget, you know that see bit cover for ubia. And again, persons with disability, omo the not just first year, omo be free from level 100 to level 400 all the way through omo tertiary.
There can be
for persons with disability. Omo no. Enye just for the
persons with disability no can move. Obi an near fra. Obi oye ba fine. Sa. Obi a
oye emum.
Obi oye mum. Obi an aswasi.
Obi ni nyina omo nyina fall under.
Achachafo nyina.
Obi a
wo say sabe on to say you betu etumurika kwa bati bibia from level 100
to level 400 don't
cause so be we invest and you free
for them.
Oh, afraid we go invest. Wow.
Ebi so na mamefo ne yekọ campaign no mo e worry say ebi on kram yenu baako e wo talent opese osua a skill insano djuma baako so wo nimdi opese oto an school so do ko ni school ni ko ni free a de opese ka e na osua insano djuma ono ko be wi na djuma ye ready no. What are we doing as a government to support them? And they say one sakra no awiese opese osua insano djuma ye introduce what we call the National Apprenticeship Program. National Apprenticeship Program, the trainer is there. You have a master's for no. You have a three hour cranny training Sunday, mom, a cranny track up.
David. Amoakohene. Yeah, I'm true. And Ramete. But my mimbusa. Aqualana Okosua Jumano. So Okosua trio. Adepam. And for Freddy Fita.
Well done. Carpentry. Nina. And the thing captured under National Apprenticeship Program no.
Enti nkwalana be kwakosua adwuma ni nyina de sikano ne master bedge
ne betua ye be say ama no efidi a o de be sua adwuma no to be able to support them. And as a comprehensive package under National Apprenticeship Program, and the budget has provided for it as well. And it's a crano years no be so co school be so sua and you are catered for. Said the bayan kobase o ono ye Ghana ni wantimi anko school nti no aban na yi na frim anaze onya bibi e be boa ne dachi.
So if I understood you correctly, the way we SS oko university no aban tua kan aman mo no akon free and the ono so we SS oko so kan aban so tua free
precisely. So we've catered for obi a wo free SS bracket no. And the
which we can chance we SS
uni hwe baby this be one number person baby so and near my where draft people's manifesto, the Excellency the President, who were the campaign now, or talk almost 3 or 4 times before election period campaign and Kasa. Drafting manifesto, you share all the organized groups, organized labors, community leaders, stakeholders to get or more input so far as your manifesto is concerned. And these are issues that emanated from the people. and you capture and near friend the People's Manifesto. No. And if that People's Manifesto I resonate with the people, say overwhelming support. No. We shouldn't throw that away and do something else. It will be because will be our follow campaign who say the same things are Ghana for some penal and only attribute cost to it to make sure share or minus Kasemwa ever covered in Netinyabua. Ade bako so no different huna timamufo bebre nursing training allowance teachers training allowance. Say oh help Mahama obetwa free education obetwa nursing allowance obetwa teachers allowance. Yes there be. Yen ne sa. Yes Ghana for bo. Enti ene ye me the pass here papa Mahama ya anya trofo. For nursing school be amiko ye I kept encouraging them say continually support His Excellency John Mahama. Na won to abanama no nursing training allowance teachers training allowance yen for yen sanka. And pass your fire sanka. You are making budget provision for nursing training allowance, teachers training allowance. If you see, and your parliament house or no leader, say by 2028 now, or sooner than a micro elephant, or sooner getting. It is because Ghana for Ebehu baby no Canada. Because no more na Ghana for part. There be a boy MPP for more percentage and promunya in this election. No, these three pillars: free education, nursing training allowance, teachers training allowance. This and no more Trump card and no more use in this election. Ni na ye free ho. Ebiom na ye ko campaign ye hu say emabunu adwumasem na wo form youth employment. Ade na higher dream pa. Owe Ghana ni na ye around 14%. Ashanti region here number around 16%. Okay. Yeah, a bit higher in terms of unemployment than the national average. Okay. It's here coming na na shamba blue crime say you be creative job avenues to support them. Or to say Ashanti region for instance, nipando do na person me yo mo akase djuma. And to a young entrepreneur, ni sika na startup our dey share djuma na sin enya ade emu odua, it becomes difficult sustaining it. And here campaign no here manifesto no. We came up with an idea, say, why not ubenya for two beer? Ubetimi dia boama omo epese eyo omo adwuma no betimi dia asi omachi eban. And to where your youth manifesto no my the policy by a friend adwuma policy. And the adwuma policy all it seeks to do here say, what started wa adwuma and now the national apprenticeship program where we obese wa started wo there uhia container uhia niema ebetima boa no atimi agina as an independent business owner. Adwuma policy no, you are making provision for it again under this budget. Eti en ko ba se wako suansa no nyumo na wi oba betena nchen. Debi, usuansa no dwuma ni wi a, obewie no, na adwuma policy no so otwe wa, ebe boa ma watimi start up in order say obetimi anya bibi to do again. E mabunu na say wa ha, digital space no so no. Obia, obabunu bia at this age bia nim how to use phone, how to use laptop, how to operate same and all that. And most of these institutions also they are moving into as it were, AI and all these digital space. What we decided to do here, say, under the youth manifesto, we promises here training 1 million coders. Said here, institutions here and kwada ebe with IT-related works, no, ebe to me absorb them na aye faster. Under this budget also, that's how provided for same under this budget. The of this budget here, assembly members are omu ehia de no omu sufre. Time be abeko campaign bia omne hold the local government all the way through to districts, municipals and sakranaba friends metro no to even talk about RCCs even to move up. If the base of your local government no is not well catered for, what will happen is say ubewie na yaudie ene niema omunya as a candidate ever moving into no unim say wo ye adwuma but you decentralization no na akakakra. His Excellency John Mahama or yan engagement me kai pefi oba Asante Mantem ye organize assembly members nyina mo hye o mo TUC nkomodie no ni nyina most of them centered around say omo hia a bit of an allowance e betumi aboa wo mo na omo so madwuma no say fuel say bi me nketenkete na ozo omo de ye boa kru na omo no zo mo bibi kakra de a enen. His Excellency John Mahama the share manifesto no. And ye ba ye 3 months in assembly members are omo go to council of state elections me kai bi ban office. Omo ni ba be share na mo share ye bo de na me na mo ntwei budget ni beba na be solve no problems nyina. Na me share that kura ni that so say e be feature in this budget. Because I thought say e be twɛn na ya stable kakra as a government and sana man e dia ba. Nyankopon nya adom. enra atoforcing or kai budget no do na we make provision for assembly members nyina across bosumi bia no we will be able to support them. What I'm pleading further is a unit committee for no as I call no we should be able to make provisions for them as well. Yet yes anyama we nyina na afi obi a wasum Ghana at any level of your governance ni bia no obeyi na komam no aye adwuma de aboa Ghana afan into my preference. The captain enra de kroma ye de pa betting tax ni my bet super bet 1x bet to 4 de no kra de eno de ukodu so okay sports for no buy am kan ho say
oh yeah kan ho say
any e11 ni na
ba me de ha me ni say Muslim a oye chiri ye di intro enra I mean, how can you be called Muhammad and be lying through your teeth like that? Oh, my worry, you know. No, say, Abino did not institute, never collected anything betting tax. All can not Patrick Boama John say, hey, wait. So, okay, what I say?
Go for more, there's Maba. Captain, the NSA, I say, me doing campaign time, na me more of the youth campaign. Na me boys, get to boys, near Tashisha. The NSA, I say, Ulo Disicano, if you momo so, at the bar, or every aviator, a wallet. No one chibi, no one janisa, one costicky, one odds beer. Now we say, you say, Crona, ya wow, the another 2 wallet. Eddie about momo wallet money as atom. There's one problem now. And the Amazon person load 50 cities. Now I'm sticky. I was all laid few momo. Now they call platform. And then maybe I would be also loaded about 1 momo and send what me. And the man say my load 50, but my odds be now. I'm not in a good mood in my man. May say load it back to me momo wallet. So 50 cities near corner say ba. Yes, I told you. Next word in the two. We see can now the coin now was a day banner, and yes, I told no tax. And you see, now Omokasa, yaw dear, because I'm afraid about could be a vieta. Say, would you not play new tour?
O say,
that's all your victim.
O say,
I'm afraid about could be a vieta. And I plane, and the plane no more time, and the more. The longer the plane stays, now to mistake it do the more and now we see can also do.
That's right.
Now if you are
betting
no. Aviator. Omu timi do na udi kan na fe odi sika kese aba be shim. To di sika kese be shim. Na fe plane na ya no to say you to us won to o so wo check kakra bo yiu. Hypertension baby I eba mabnu no so no aviator no ka ho bi aviator de ka ho na da obedi kakra bi no wodi ya di baby o wodi kakra bi no aka wo be yi na nka dia nka odi aye obi bi no na ba na sato and ne say yet wo monti former finance minister nbe gina Mike Anima no ka otherwise no obi a na obi abu office no I mean why ade no wanye ni ya many am before na nka after budget reading we no anka mba gina Mike Anima Kadi medical yes me pa Ghana for acho. Say one, e leave you omo de ba na Ghana for yes entiase. Omo ye ya akoye town hall meetings on it just to convince Ghanaians say e leave ni ade papa. Ana e leave you buy revenue kura no mo pe o kura no manya. Omo anya no so kura omo say nya series of advice say omo ensan reverse mfi ho. Omo mfi ye ekotwa cake. Omo ye na fi omo na sade e leave buy na sabe promise ye. See it's out to about more. I dare no mona de buy no or be ye few. Omo creas are buyers, I say, sab betting tax no. Omo promise you on manifesto say, see a 2 Obama, Dr. Baumia, on be betting tax nice. If you and the idea finance minister, I think one farmer no. I didn't want farmer the head and also a baby few are bright as I to about Eddie about. So you see, Ghanaians, any a democracy be a druno. We a leader now. One honest with them one. Ombe udi no ma he osa. Yeah, Ebroni dura na ya pane show. Now on say the Excellency Mahama ne governance wait here no. Ye de ne bae ana ye yi ni free so ana ya sa de na ba. E de say de wowu akoba. Me ye doctor yi. Nkofo bi o ha. E duru ba bi e din pa otimi kura call off. Na bi a why resuscitation na gina ne so for hours and san oba back. Oba back And who here on the other side of the world, no, or our person will share be with you and all that. So for no follow our lifestyle part, they change from a lot of things. They change from a lot of things.
As a when
you know, it be nice. Excellency, Mama, one saying that's how na or ban the second term.
As a call you,
they come at you. The second term was a of any legacy term. It's many brepa. Say. Obe free so the 10 no ebe end no. I was see a boni din a dimpa a tiny din. And he started on a very good note. The reason why I'm always say I na appointees no. Yes you now captain. Now nipa no oda wani odi wani no na ya. Obe den na wo as an appointee. Wada. And they so kra nipa 16 na ko appointee. Nyame ya wadnom na out of nipa bebre boa ma party ba power 16 no ko kan ho. Now the waji adwuma na da kokoto. Bibi say say ade na wo amoa nipa no appointed to who say ye boja near namuna ye hwesa dwuma ne nkoso a na because be say boy his excellency na ono so the appointments why no one should have any cause to question why he made a decision to appointing A or appointing B to whichever position. The captain adwuma ne de e go so
the hope he gives you hope. Honorable, you free budget no kakra. Who could do regional coordinating council who dey?
The regional coordinating council near campaign no. Near the Kenya and TSA said ye ho etiano. And there might be a say wo. And even before ye be appointment, so I'm your regional secretary. The minimum regional chairman the call after handing over. You call on the 9th of January. And the call near call here baby president free and can bar Cobetina. Baby regional minister Betina na akwakoya afise film sem. MC ye home videos, home interviews baby at the Barbontin. It as I speak with you. Me fie na ekwa adwuma no pa bia president amatim abaho ababehwe ye de report ni bibia so de amana they are waiting the direction said they be able to put in place. And so far issues ni de edoso but ye dida wan ye da so and you still have to make sure say adwuma ne bekoso. Me we are office on 29th of January na I was a Krura and Penifua dead and on the two Omosa. Now I was a departments sectors be relevant for Ashanti's development piano. The right briefing and be able to act through. So I'm saying the first few weeks that was exactly what we were doing. Aside from that, if there were any problems that came up, we needed to intervene as early as possible. And Captain, you see, Radio Nation, 43 MMDAs. You appointee mayor, you appointee DC, you appointee MC. And we are regional minister now. I was saying now keeping an eye over all the 43.
And over there, what do you say?
But there's a 43. And said the Etiano, memos, and no more BBA spending, and it has to come to your table for you to peruse and sign what sign a more approval and diako. One if you have a visa Makakoto. One now but try and kind ye now consign BB. I dear bet you know. Nay, I can boom iron of a PP. And the dab one day the jail. And you have to do a lot of readings. And what I also noticed is some of the contracts, some of the contract certificates, Ibano. If you want to and pictures, come. And so back form no. Na juma na nkasa entisa. And the first contract certificate you buy, name say the shop, wokumewu. Me tu car. Hwe adwuma no ba bia wa ya akodru. Any ba bia car obesi sign certificate no. Emfama me too sa na mo no. Afi ma hu say contractors ni bia na nko mo start adwuma kra share adwuma ase in areas o makoji sika no dada na say e was nkomo ye edeba no. Because when say o ma anya no the certificate ni begu manimu a I will take an extra step in making sure say I will do. And see, it is helpful for your progress as a country. Yama waduma no aye na dwuma no hwate. Meti region no makomu nyina si. Ana hwemi wo boys wo kuro bia so. Ana hwemi sa wo party structure wo kuro bia so. It is civil service ni mu kra na obeye wadwe say obeye she envelope mu dia say omo a. Me party fo na say bibi kobone e begu me president ani mu asem. Metumi aso mo makokohwe. No more picture dia ba be confirm me adwuma kra obese me sign ho certificate man. And I have adopted that because anasa na me ko approve certificates. Na da achi bi e be kona ye hu say minister ko approve certificate bi. Ah ho adwuma no any from one. E be ba be gu ye nyina ni mase. But I mean who say me take his our first instance of going down to check on the work done before signing the certificate. Now, boy, Mount Somashare, Jumasi in some key areas. I'll keep monitoring. This is name mayor bar. About my pressure not to do an answer from. Said they be able to me, ama my more of the coordination and supervision instead of being on the field directly involved in most of the things. But I did so far so good. May I branch into and now they are a hammer so in any way.
You video sibini near free coordinating council by how bad the place was actually located. Describe it, mine.
I saw, and the place is in a sorry state. Presidential villa, a good minister's residence, a good. Said them initially.
Says what I hear.
Miss me if you feel a cordima. In the 6 weeks, I might have money if you feel a call. And Miss Oyana Papa, I just remember say, me dread moon when my elite. They be said the okay, say I said you know, you have to be on time to make sure so bit more clear as many as possible. And the acha by 7:20, number 50. Acha by 7:45, number word, number chain. Oh, I am a call, I realize civil servants no do now or if you are by Juma at 10. I will be true no as if you and do any productive hour they contribute to government business now. So what I decided to do is say at 8 I will be there, assess nipa dodo aba. Mo amoma ye nyina mo chief director na mo man explanation as to why man ba adwuma. Me ye na say first man call adwuma no. I remember clearly. Na as at 8 nipa na ba adwuma no mu no 30. You are staff strengthening na over 117. And there's a half of cry na even one a quarter and na ba adwuma. Me started say you know ebu abekọ abesan ni ase ni nipa ba 80 wo. Omo aka akiri no na omo tinya explain so we be a cleaners. Omo ba no papa be prepare and omo koye be hwem na emu dodo na so eye no kwe. And the same thing na mayor with most of the district assemblies so are my visiting. Nti as the residents what there e ho ayebasa say dem di ka kan no ya set up committee no do omo findings no more report. And then me and na key omo check amaye how the place was managed in the past. So that one, we will be able to learn lessons from there and be able to hold people accountable for almost stewardship to the country. 2, I'm proposing how they want us to redevelop the place. So that at the end of the day, baby a president ba instead so be dank for hotel any de care can hono be baby a buying there. Now one, at me ensure president security. Now that me ensure say a car you born hotels no esobeti. 3 years so I'm put cost to near my own person and ever honor. Say, be I be let me just suppose because initial a year more the buyer no. Now, where's the car or the echo with regards to renovation? Then I can put up a new structure, Krananka, the home of us. So these are all issues are upper. We are juggling it, and I'm sure say we are Enchebiano, the baby up with a roadmap and a day befixing as you see.
Wow. So say the Hwase cry.
Oh, you say the Hwase. And the first thing I had to do was to restore security. And the whole security zone. What I realized is police for an hour come a war on duty were hono. Because they honey good and they were not coming. Until watchmen for so an hour was no to mother. And they say, Okoha, one, your police roster at every point in time, there are police teams out of patrol a holding now. Yet me are clear, so we did not never hobby baby. And I'm to say quiet in everywhere. In the year 9, so I block some of the areas in Matimi, I want me to 2 But be a name foot throws so I far within residents near the admin. Mama workers not cleaning home. And they say no how been say compare any previously now. Different. There's that still, even after cleaning the name, after making sure say all these are done, you can still send the president in there. Say president about what you know, Kocaine. And almost every week be so me am making sure say me see form wo e ko said the honest say be BB say yeah I'll be able to get to know on time and be able to intervene accordingly. And the captain, as is in some there, I represent them.
Enti ehwa na Osemen Saturday regional minister.
Enti omo ba afoforo no. And say ho presidential villa no Kofo de CS. His Excellency Donald J. Kofo. And new bungalows na world tree no green ones no. And His Excellency Mahama name knows a time no musi. So. And this time ni na account now. Honorable Peter na fit now. Honorable Erikopuku et now. And with Honorable Samosapo. So now. His Excellency John Mahama na so now. In 2012 to 2016, or maybe I want to know. 2017, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia bet now. What's in here? And if you 2017 but 2018, they are no more. And after 2018, no more abandoned space, no. And no mama will be. And you all the way to 2020, no will be anyhow.
Will be until
after 4 more, so no 4 more for houses.
It's now no nothing. Also to the field.
21. I'm say Foreign Affairs Ministry. New building bureau. State House. And I'm say one na actually be our.
Into Ofi Regional Coordinating Council Kocaine Foreign Affairs for
Foreign Affairs dan. Na Foreign Affairs dan so be kan ho nsem kire wa. As I am papa wani me offer wani kakranti. Me person me bon na chi bebere.
Yes, but come here say yes sika na de be you.
We are na the pressure koba.
Dabi yes no yes sika na wo de be.
In the State House on so. Nsem bebere.
Nsem bebere say.
Nsem bebere it is not in a good shape. One nnua omni year pono ni ade ni nyina kankare amana pro ewo ho. Ewo videos na ho me ma share da me call first day in office bibia me dey team no call no ma video bibia go me say dem crofo etie air condition ba kokra no ho ya adwuma
baby Onua regional
ba bia no mo see ho no otie no State House no air condition ba kokra no ho ya adwuma ho no e dan na nkasa mu nzo to e ba ho
say you
I doubt say no was at ho no so ebia na omo kan say say be e kwede say o ebia just to say something to represent something but I say them can more of an influence ko ani munti am be say me twa na chi bebere but in fact the management of state assets Works and Housing Minister by am Nancy on this issue because say government works government housing all these fixed assets ni na no say to a larger extent or jurisdiction over it. And I have advised him because I'm not me young voter region minister so kasa. So on so have the same problem so that we can get a very strict measure to make sure say obia a day government fixed assets you have that responsibility of one keeping it as it is and handing it over in a similar condition to a year nipa obabetum. It may be by what I did say. RCC be a member tono, won't take stock. Miss me team, private, almost won't take stock. No be keeping it there. Say next time the Baba can home, any dear order dano. May a quantum actually a massacre and money as I'm on a chrono. Near who and I appreciate what I came to meet and what I am adding on and what I will be handing over to Nipa or Baby Dimadia. In fact, said your manager's space near very problematic. And because I can't hold them now, we are Chrono Crabble.
And they can't.
Being kind of credible. Captain. No. What's a fireman? No, I don't know. And then when we are, I just want to, because I said they had him, but I'm sure some repayment. They are we would get.
Over there now, bit me, I need number one. Far, we are in Kocaine.
And to say a team from presidency, our presidency, President His Excellency John Mahama, say you about 2 times after we be presidency. At the time you will be an opportunity to review the issues in the region are on top of the issue. No, local government networks minister Omuswaba, and they've indicated their commitment to making sure say they better fix these problems. Budget in control budget yaba dem puntu oba I approve your parliament. I will engage them now how a bit restore normalcy to the place. Kejetia, Kejetia, we have a lot of issues. And say mayor ni hontino. A German na be guma bobuano. It was a me banana within a week now, wash a bed 3 times. And said there na a whole problem so akwa no. Na akwa to say of an Ntim Fordjour. Nani mi aso aye dem because yentimi mi phase 2 no. Enti yentimi nye decongestion kase bia wo ho to bring down the numbers wo Kejetia phase 1 no. In the first thing yes I'm afraid contractors no to find out what challenges anti adwuma was enkoso wo na enkoso ana o mai hu say o funding problems nya de sika nko dedicate say nka yemfa nya phase 2 no em say sika no aban no mfa man and all that eti wa na me frɛ local government minister eti me need di ho nkomo no say de ye ka no eno Krofro market ene Mampontin market sa market nya san we ye key marketer da Ashanti maya kuma so beyond that no so kra no yetumi awie bed decongest Kumasi central Kumasi no natimi aboa and local government by minister by obaye no ye sat na Kejetia no so bio Krofro no so bio na Mampontin market no so bio nti Kejetia de adwuma hyase a omoto aso wo Kejetia phase 2 no and you be na contractors no obia e wo ho Krofro market akodi contractors bebre nsem because some of akofo na hyase wo hyase no abai bia ba kwa ya transiting between a lot of contractors. And what I need to do, meeting the contractors so that from a perspective, I'll be able to review contract, what really the details are because Rambo style. Now the JJ, the command new person, now baby, we are now the court, not judgment depth if you want, and I want to know the exact contract terms. Then I'll be able to see those we should terminate and those maybe was a pesca more mona or mutumisako home. Janus you go home. A year Mampontin market and also review ya and also engage some few contractors a person or monsa and come. Na Kejetia phase 1 na ya no. Sanitation na a problem. Electricity issues so na a problem or Kejetia hona. And access to the place. And fire issues. These are the 4 key issues. What do you notice here is almost 2 accounts, escrow account and an operational account. Escrow account near the commodity rents na wo na ekogum. Sa account nimu na emu percentage ye de betua loan na e was ye de repay Kejetia project na nkasa. Sa percentage ni bi na ye de ma nananom. Sa percentage ni de ma KMA. Sa percentage ni bi na ke de erane ye Kejetia no. Near Saudi insurance. Unfortunately, after we open, we say since 2021, we insure Kejetia facility. They BBC. Hold on.
Kejetia insurance.
An insurance.
So what happened to the money now? Jomami Chato was said they insure Kejetia.
Almost 15 million. I'm not blown on other things.
Mahama Eko with Jessica say find insurance 15 million Ghana cedis no mama find insurance indicate your market in insurance boy
enti amasa award the contracts amem omo with cleaning with security with these issues enti what happen is say escrow account no omu di musika ma then Ministry of Finance dey so amago control sa account to say omuntimi nkomu bio and omuntimi nkomu bio no so ntino omun say na sika wo mu no matimi dey running space no and what they do is say bosume no so a na electricity bill aba no no ma gina the phone so age bill no omo obi atua wi a is there some this can go to light bill no no this can to contractors na omo subcontracting these issues no with no eka and the MC last week you obi ko twa light no ti no na me wo ye be so na no you are no more friends say Kejetia na the SNE omatwa light mu. I had to engage the ECG regional boss and have a payment plan with them. Say be enti be ambeti enka. Ye be a huge shake up e Kejetia. Ye be a huge shake up Kejetia because ye tna ho ma ne man ko so see ya ye be wi no na ye de nsa akohye dem reform. Enti captain moti enka was akwade so na ma hu say ye Kejetia ni ye die. En say de ye kono ya onye bibia amfa ho a ye be wi no na nkiyehuyanka so de na kachi and you be shake ups Casiepa or Kejitia. After that, any moon if you zoo Hobanina now maybe stations oh a no loaded Techiman car Sunane car cars oh then I'm a call on I'm instructing ma or more clear I want to thank the regional police commander and the Oma clear zoo anymore. I care about 2 of the other entrances. I want to say me clear said the bear. If BBC Crown is a stampede and go for free one bar or more be anywhere by obstacle a moment. If you also more erect containers around Kedetia. New containers are air blockade. I be also mucha fence in night, the iron horn and son or matimi our pretty store. Now, Captain, I'm going to mention I did before no matter is a minus. Said on me or Majumani. I buy be a bar or more party cards, you know. And the what's it? I did before the minus. These 2 groups are we don't be a Jumana saying, but who was buying no? Or more party cards, you know. And the end is bar. MP bar or MP. But the other show, the other show is why a minor, no claims were ending. No, Bujan say, mining a Juman wire for how longer? Day to a Bemano every day back into the previous government. You know, that's I don't hear this in you know, then now to me quite share forest at this particular point in time. We are Jadini, Wababeshi Station, Ewo, Zoo and Nimuha. You can also end this. Who do party card by time Ben why station of Jumano? Who was at the time why station of Jumana? It predates back. And what I have noticed yourself, Among said there's a change of government to be as well end this in just to find cover. And we end this in here. I'm not sure it's all paid in Bonia, my excellency no Mahama. So you will do the right thing. And I end this in the person you know I do my campaign and who bray and send a gun of who your mobile bar. You will not do things that would jeopardize the chances or the future of the party. GSA. Say, oh, Kedetia. Now we are dear MY, yea, money, enim, NDC color, any MPP color. And for be a mammy office, and I can say, we end this in Inti, Kawaii container, Casio, near down this war. It is not done anywhere. Open Jumanaya as a government, you might other opportunities, other avenues. And I just want to send this out there. So we'll be a OT. We all NDC card, or MPP card, or your government. We are there for Ghanaians. And it doesn't matter or political affiliation. If you are doing the right thing, we will support you to do the right thing. But if you are doing the wrong thing, don't think say you can hide under political colors and then be left to do whatever pleases you. It my instructors containers only no money fuel. There were what they call at the Shema Honey or Monclair containers in fuel. Senipan also end this in here, when end this in Chemia, now me a regional secretary, my regional minister. Now I call you near my dear and was here ever brave. And I'm just putting in the said the bear more high in Kofor Banners or more castle home, the end this for no more years here. You will have that perspective, say, as it is now, MPP that form, and to be any best way I did because of MPP. Obia Ben Adus will Johnny. No other seeking for NDC command. These issues no one settled. I'm sure say we should be able in the shake-ups here by Okejetian. I'm sure say we should be able to restore some decency. I was our space, no. Na intimi more na yema menum edwadi intimi koso.
Insurance no yebeye.
Yebeye. New management ba enche. Njomo tax no. Many finance ministry so I engage you on the escrow account. Say be on bit me embargo no ni ahwe. Because if we say omo started running holding na Canada omo ntimi ntua capital bampo. Ana nanke ya sa sika no. Ana mpo growth market redevelopment na hinge on sika nkombena or escrow account no otimi dia no ayensi achi buy up sika dia boa growth market no. Any even phase 2 no. Aha. And phase 1 no as it is no na akoye basa no obi kura ma sika for crowfro man na phase 2 a na odetwe no na captain there ya ne say nyema ya kan ho asem nyina wo mo stronghold o enti ma nyomo stronghold kura na sense bebrebe ene regions aka there pani ko he but you see as I kept saying say only wo yire to ho a e ma wo yire no enye na address wo pakene nyema ko abusuafo ho ansa na obeye de ye wo fie as okuna baye de ye wo fie MEP tena ase ma Asante mantem tinta suko call de kire wo mo na afi no be de se de ampa ene yaka echi de ye say abaye obeba odi mpuntu bebre Asante no eno na se mahu say that is what the region is looking for. The region has grown beyond partisan politics. They are looking clearly at the oba odi mpuntu ba. Next I can see that say about 7 seats in the region, 33.1% of votes. The Asante Yamaya 2024, and this year is power. And until now, young person about to Asante region national. We go dia and I said you won in document Nasia and Tunku. NPP and Kessing can do move from Macrano. A baby drew him one more thing, the Scotch or more. A chance we end this now, but not 1 year. They can equally show you the red card. Young person been a red card or Ashanti region. And into irrespective of how bad MPP Amanaye in the past 8 years now, we are ready to restore and make sure say the garden city now Befan and Tomapa aside your friend.
I don't have any question to ask again.
Thank you.
Your final words.
No, so Obia would see me behind no pain. Moamoba, more fast. Honorable Dr. Frank Amoakohene, Dr. Nkabakosaka home. Na madam wasi I'm say the past 6 weeks I'm starting more year adwuma me ma me ho kwai no mutimi ba e de afutuo ene adwenkyere ba e beboa ma Asante region afa ntoma pa e de afra I start here sa na monyi masati am you a I'm say ye monimsem I don't intend to relent on that effort until my doors are always open. Bibi e ya adwen mpo e ya adwen kire beboa ma Asante afa ntoma pa afra no eno na ye papa His Excellency John Mahama de maba say memra me ye nema Ashanti region and fa ntoma pa infra. What I can assure the good people of Ashanti region is that we're going to work hard to make sure say as a region no bibi e fa region mpuntu ho about education, about health, about agric, about infrastructure, roads. Any bibi e de adwuma bre temamufu bia no enne ye made so a maga ye ma adwen say me de mu nyina together ye be ye na aboa na ma regional konanim na de animunyam abrekurura and His Excellency the President. So my doors are always open and I want to continually seek for more support any more paibo say mo nyam badom na ye nyina ntimi mu ana kru no ntimi fa ne ntoma pa efemfra madam nyina ma se obi a onya abre na wotie anopai na me nhira mo.
His name is Frank Amoakohene, NDC Regional Secretary. Mpacho when you resigning?
Enti omunya my directive say party executives are in appointments in resign. And
I said directive
be in my
and anyway, whether you resign or not, in Tia Pat Ghana Mbrabia. Mbrabian wait here and I know there's no problem. His name is Frank Amoakohene. He's a medical doctor. And they was a member and you also remember
oh can obey you.
Oh GH boy, sorry.
JME Mahama oh can obey you.
All right. Yada waba. Yeba twaso.
Eya Samuel.
Opepa omenya ni oda omode amaban no. Capture the digital.
Yeah.
Proud to NT watch I see. Or the defame no hold to the sense and he has become nobody. So far as this whole political destiny is concerned. So a chance we need political power. Now, kwanya before so be use no, and the determine the kind of legacy and the kind of name you make for yourself.
Yeah.
Prior to the election, Adeba Kwana Ghana for nyina ye kan ho asem ye galamsey. For the first time in the history of this country, na ye kwaya election and na economy and lead the conversation, but it was galamsey. A chira how destructive it was at the time.
Yeah.
And the criminal negligence on the part of the government of the day say obeye bibia found to the extent that there were reports. Man for evidence, a good president and him all that he needed to do was to act on it. But at the top of all this evidence, you know, yet now say law. Make the press, give the president power to use his own personal discretion to award forest reserve to individuals or more air mining in this forest way. There were a lot of criminal activities and perpetrated. So elections, no course of President Mahama Baye, the focus was on Galamsey because that was the leading conversation.
Yes.
But you see, transition, it goes slow. People wanted to see some drastic measures be buying a take, but the government was in transition. I felt the government in the form, so that form no, and others will be. But I can tell you, sir, this past week we will be at war reservations so far as the fight against Galamsey is concerned. I think the government has demonstrated enough commitment within this week, saying they are really ready in the fight against corrupt this Galamsey thing. And I wish, sir, that particular way, because you see, it's one thing that is going to make or make the president, so far as his legacy is concerned, because your friend is a Ghana for our much interest. There's one subject that people in academia and stuff involved because our destinies are on the line. So I'm expecting that these measures are buying a take here or go after this Galamsey, will not just end there. Debbie, with this Akwanta mines, there has been a lot of investigation reporting as far as demonstrating clearly the involvement of this company in mining, especially forest reserve. And then there is a video that is making rounds. I will be a documentary. Capture how destructive this company has been in these areas. I must say forest reserve and so forth. When the minister did the press conference, I say we are revoking lands. For me, that is not enough. These people are criminals, and they should be telling they should be talking to us. Measures are being prosecuted these individuals because the level of distraction are causing. We can't just say you revoke licenses, and then it ends there. Yes, it's good. Some people have been arrested, but then you see, there be a mekasa mining site. Nipa no mu guam na mo mutu no. Omo ko baade o. E poverty na so mo.
Yeah.
E no omo we into sa nema no. E do kwachi sa nkrofo na you are not resolving Galamsey. That is why from Rollins Pennsylvania na soldier for ko nwuram ye chase amanfo because who chase you the following day they will come. But the owners now, the campaigns, are highly connected individuals, just like my brother said. And these are people who should be going after. For instance, Okwa ground na excavator siwa. Which excavator abachi nipa? Do you know why? Sure. Because excavator no owner. Chances number no trace, you know the owner and whoever company crana or rent it out. You can follow the trade to know who and who rented that particular thing. So you trace to the real owners of these things. And I think that with the excavator bed 31 and Amoakohene, use those strategy to get to the core individuals now. Are responsible for this destructive behavior. Your mining, your lands, and as if say. Because these people are determined. For them, it is not some kind of a vocational. It's a full-time vocation they've employed. Say this is what they will do. And on top of that, I'm also expecting say government will do everything to ensure say JB your mineral regime no there be a mechanism way some re-engineering because so na Ghana atimia take the full ownership of our mineral destiny because we cannot be owning tons of resources. Then foreign companies will come and mine and they'll give us royalties. No, it doesn't make sense at this present time. You understand? Because this time, the resources we have, say you're building the necessary infrastructure and then as a foreign. Trust me, it can take care of the people here. But people are benefiting, external people making money, and not cry they go no mutua. What time money including not here, and the Chinese are coming. I'm happy the minister said some of the Chinese people are going to be prosecuted because defeated the earlier Niama Nanam Krum said, Yachi Chinese if I deport you more, Yansabene will move Chinese in a deport, no Nagan and Idewa Jelino. Does it make sense? So I think that foreigners now or Mokan must be prosecuted. Magana for Hunen Savo as deterrent to Obise Galamsey. Indeed, government is ready. Now again, Yebi, Oko in the past. Announced a investigation. Yeah. Dr. Frimpong Watson a investigation. Adding a report by. These are criminal reporter. There is no expiry date in some of these things. I want government to revisit these issues. Are you sitting as for someone that's in the Nkrumah? Yeah. What Johnny or Baba? Okay. Oh, and that crowd you can try people in absentia. Of course. Yes, it's a big deal. And then yes. We can try you in absentia. So I don't quite way. We need to go after these individuals. As our binary term in that era is gone. No. Professor Frimpong Watson can be a key witness to Nema happen. Government needs to collaborate with him, get that particular evidence, and make sure that we follow through. And every single person in the past, involved in Galamsey, we bring these people to justice. Because it cannot just happen, say that chapter near close to, then we are moving forward. And then the same people are the MPP from Peninfo. And other people within the media are bold enough to sit on public and they are criticizing John Mahama, say he's not fighting Galamsey. When you had 8 good years, the president akonta mine ya yache na ya ene ne nema adimu ye say illegal and I say all pretty. The same person was clear, just like my brother said. Ye say Koforudia wakoshia bishop and a president go use the platform no ka say akonta mine nyanye bibia, but this is a company that is in the forest. Manase Koya investigation and several other reports came indicating that indeed the guy was in mining illegal mine na also in our forest reserve na so for and every much our forest reserve. So I think that you see our approach and our effort in dealing with this thing must be ruthless. It doesn't matter Nepani NDC and MPP ni. All we know is that we want to preserve our forest and so forth. And going forward, JB. Yeah, negotiate your friend saying lands and as for instance that the mine wine government want to take over now. Nationalize all the assets. The resources we are here, let us go out there, get that particular service to come and work for us. At the end of the day, we own the resources. And again, this minor mining now you leave to individuals. Government must begin to form companies. Now you're training individuals, they will be in charge at the back of these individuals, and they can employ young people to go into some of these mining areas. Now so that mining will be responsible mining, not those kind of winner yehua. Yes, sense will sense as a for no. It doesn't make sense. So for me, I think that this effort as shall say must be renewed. And these criminals over the years, so used to Galamsey. And unfortunately for us, Galamsey no munyo musikana. They come into the political space.
But the irony is that Akontam mining over the years, I think the first Mahama government was a Tamils government, one of them.
Okay.
The excavators cry,
yeah.
Then came another Dakwakufado, or the judgment debts.
Yes.
Why are you reducing politics to this level where political differences do not matter irrespective of the judgment that goes in years back?
Yes, that is why the quality of men we put in leadership position. And I'm making about Galamsey, and Galamsey, I'm making it possible for a lot of idiots to win political power because of money. So such person who is not thinking about Nema Wogini, he's thinking about personal interest, the interest of his affiliate, friends, and then for them. But the core decisions that we need to make are our far-reaching consequences and impact in a positive on the fortunes of this country. They will not take it because Akonta mining, illegal at the time. Now you're confiscating the Nema, now you're the same company was liberated because MPP was in power and it was giving full access. This time, not just mining areas or forest reserve. Yes. Forest reserve no afane dia otunu na osanton bi ma manfo otonma wi a yese oje 250 grand every way bi abia gold ojeje gold o any dollars waton ma in dollars awie no every month bia na oje gold 250 grand and then your business now you think the president was not in the know. National security will be a so I think there is me. I don't want to mention names. They are irrelevant. These are key people must say your name. It doesn't matter who they are. I think that the state must be ruthless. We a state, you cannot be merciful. You cannot show weakness. We need to demonstrate to the people of this country that government is fully in charge, and in things like this, not why you'll be scared venturing into some of these arenas. We need to make Galamsey a high-risk venture for China. But if we create a weak environment, these people will be importing this Chinese. They come with highly sophisticated equipment. They poison our soil, poison our water bodies. They destroy everything. At the end of the day, they take monies and they go away. Right. You know, China, they are building gold reserve because they are shifting from the reliance on the offense a US dollar because of what is going on at the geopolitical arena. And we Poland through the whole world open country back auto gold in the year is China because the central bank is behind it. They want to build a huge gold reserve when the Western world crypto they want gold. That is why they've liberated these people. Don't think that they are individuals.
All right.
Because China is a communist state. Every company that comes here is operating at the instructions of the Chinese government. Assemble, they will get their backing. It's the reason why they forced Ghanaian government at the time, to deport individuals as Omoko jail, because the government is behind it. We are talking about a communist state. So I think these are red lines that we need to look at as people. Now you protect young kasaya there. Now you BM na you greedy there. Trust me, we will never get anywhere.
All right, but that's it. Maminda Ivan Asina, me enche me bani afe ECG sesem no so. But as usual, me start free Dr. Samuel Yehonomuna. Yafe ECG. But that's not no me pass that kese fama. Shedraka Mono Enterprise. Anka to say make sure say brother soye na fe ono endili bibia opebia no fa brother soye na fe ono ebe dili na bibia so tumi akoye. Now so doctor my membra will hono bi na me hwe what is happening to ECG? The doom so is getting too much.
Of course.
Contextualize it just to ECG can nema onhia.
Just enti mi gidi ne meka kire Ghana fo nya e bia ono nso eni
ade bako adi Ghana nya pa okroma ade efe state owned enterprises. These are enterprises they are supposed to work at the various strategic areas. Sabaya Ghana ebetimi click. So you can say it's one of the engines of the government machinery. But you see, for some time now, all these entities have become debt entities. Are more driver debt. Debt more rise as a result of inefficiencies within these institutions because they are not accountable to anybody. ECG we don't know messy up or no politician will be at them. Bank of Ghana man for messy up others are now printing money and as for inflation could do 50 something in Obia would know. I know that the politician will take the bashing. So some of these things are render these state institutions very inefficient. And sometimes when you walk in and you look at some of the decisions they make, you'll be shocked. Foolish decisions. Reckless decisions are those decisions that are far-reaching consequences on the fortunes of this country. For instance, I mean, you care about your friends say ECG can near my own here. What will be the motivation? You need it next 10 years. Expiration date be 8 years. So you know very well, say it doesn't make any sense in terms of logic to make such procurement. But because I know that they are not being held accountable, no, a politician will pick a call, Munya this order, me supplier, our China, Menena Kasa. And they will bring the things the state will pay. So these inefficiencies in all these state institutions are so compromised to the extent that ECG ECG I say on neka. This is a company independent power producers as of Gilwine or magic power or they don't sell power. When they produce the power, they give it to ECG, go and sell. Obama catches a technical and commercial losses here 42%. Now more than JB. Company bank and now be a produce power man Kocaine. What's the technical and commercial losses here 42%. That no company can be viable, and that become a norm. Oh, it's okay. Now you're home. Nobody's been fired. I brought here now not TV3 former MD justifying this reckless spending and as far. Yes. Under his watch, a lot of these things went on. And for me, I resign. And I'm a some sense of decency. Be at least what draw back. Now I hire a bit to be a way, but he was defending some of those nauseating stuff. So you see, for me, the doomsday situation, are quite obvious. But then you see, you can't governance. You can't go Bobby so baby. I just say Bimia Akwenya Kocaine back and son of Mobi. Governance, my culture says, is an act. It's flexible. And sometimes you can contextualize it just to fit one kasa or terrain because obia circumstance are different. Says here, the books have been opened. Every reasonable mind behind the Mekachuri Semuna NPP Bogu Ama for who say power sector there is a crisis. Who doesn't know? Unless you are not ready to accept the reality. That is the reality. Yet home. But you see, Doomsona shall say eba.
Which is worrying.
And tell them, everybody is entitled to spread that particular thing. So what you need to do is constant engagement with the people. Tell them what is happening.
Yeah.
Because Ghanaians understand the problem. But what they will not agree with you is all of a sudden lights, eba. without anybody being told anything.
As it stands now, I don't know there, but there is no reason or justification to why I award so.
No, there is a reason, but nobody is telling you. That is the reason why. So that
Dr. Triana Kanya.
And I make us say in the past, some of these mistakes echo. So
yeah.
Abra John Mahama about 2016, do you know say of free power? Years after, and some man for who said or see your friend is a Legon hospital. Years after, before a man for who said Nema or yeah. So I think communication is key. There is a problem on daily basis. Update people doing such situation. Saying that people agree with you because government is are buying the magic. And that's sorry, and Nema was and Nema no. People know that there is a problem, but the energy ministry must consistently be engaging people, update people, let people know. Hey, Hannah, this is the situation, and the lights never cut off. Mammo be tema, and that man prepare. This is what is going to happen. When you inform, you see, lights in a call for home, and the lights in a call off for the yaman for a hero. And yet, the fact that you don't know, you don't know when it is coming.
Yeah,
I think that where our governance are getting to know, we need to move beyond this. In other jurisdictions like America and as a forum, some of the company lights in a call off and they send a text message as telling you why and when it will come. With maybe you're not much advanced to get there, but radio announcement that kind of way, let people know, let them understand. The market is a governance, it's a public enterprise. So, and you be in the department and Sabia Sarana 12 o'clock, or baby, or Mokoyano Maba. No. A public enterprise, you need to inform people, let people know. That is why I call White House Donald Trump. Every day he's behind the cameras, communicating his own policies in his own voice for people to know what he's doing on daily basis. I think the president should be doing weekly that kind of way, and then White House, the press secretary, every blessed day, so answering question from your friend is saying
the media,
because you don't leave doubt. Governance is such that you don't create a vacuum. But the very moment you create a vacuum, people will fill it, and whatever they fill it with, you don't have any control. Because people will fill it with propaganda, misinformation, whatever. You can't control. So for me, you don't create room. But Sankayabana Yama reason. This is why there is doom so. And the very people they are the same people on social media, and then they are tagging John Mahama to do so, but they are the very people who caused the problem. So why don't you tell people, explain people, say these are the challenges, we are doing our best, here we are, and then say so people are in the know. But what's also now you hold information to your chest, you don't speak to anybody. Sometimes people want information and then suddenly Obia who said sa WhatsApp now or send a message I take a blue no and now people know how to disable that particular. It was sending the message and take a crown of our kind. You see, I don't know why we don't learn as people. Power not JB. However long you stay, it will expire. Rollins to me Obenya no be no Benya be do Ghana how 21 years in power in military uniform. He wielded absolute power and the Rollins were here.
Because from the old canon, as it starts now, me try me bills every. Ebia me can ni duma.
Yes.
Me should prepare.
Yes.
I'm expecting some enjoy power.
Yes.
E can be wo hono mo a, anase bibi atochima wo hono mo a. Ye ni ye stakeholders.
Yes.
Leading stakeholders.
Yes.
We should be of the known say this is the reason why this and that is happening.
You need to understand, sir, there can never be a situation now power sector in a problem. There is a problem.
Absolutely.
Communicate. Tell people every day, engage them. Let them know why this is happening. Why and that 2 o'clock or light back off because of this situation. Tell people I'm not against light now air off, no, but I'm against the lack in terms of flow of information. Updating people, let them know, explain, because already know book now by OPS, who say we had just about 48-hour power emergency way. The President Mahama made commitment to say he will do everything at the early stage things were going away. So at this point in time, the ministry need to take over, engage people, public update, give them anyasa. You are giving arsenals to your enemies. And the NPP is out of power. There are people on social media calling John Mahama, Doomso John Mahama, when they know they created a problem. Elections, that time a free crew near to so. A current abwabo and see honor. And again, ECG issue nearby a man for tongue cables and as a forum. No. we need to revisit that particular issue, because the crisis we are in today is as a result of this criminal negligence and the complicity of some people in the past administration. Why are they walking free? This ECG cable matter must be revisited full glare, and every single individual will be
Is the NDC and, for that matter, John Mahama ready to visit that issue?
Oh, no. At this time, it's not just about NDC. It is about John Mahama. Governance level, and the caliber of young people who are coming, and how Ghanaians have become so much receptive and interested in issues of politics. You have no choice. People will determine what to do. One year you are digging your own grave, and the president, as a very experienced politician, he understands these things. You understand? So punishing crime is something you can never forgo at this time, because young people are out there asking questions, because there were criminal activities all over. You and I were here. We are all sitting on this platform. You boom the beer corruption. Now corruption now prosecuted. So I think that the president understands this. Let us take this fight. But you see, my catch is and weakness has no space in politics.
Yeah,
you need to be strong. You need to be very frontal. You don't care about what people will say, so far as you know what you're doing is right. That is what we need to do, because Nipana committed crime. We can't live in a country where somebody will just wake up a day because signals brew wine. Now I walk into estate. A dying among kind 27 man will check album now more dama. Gebi. Sikan babi onya no. On declare will be and these things as you see, and a man for best say or a party in the press conference I could defend them. I'm telling you, press conference and as I'm the soldier for Samungina. Such nonsense must not be tolerated, because we are talking about issues of criminality. Oko other jurors now I'm back catch was a South Korea president and Kasa Omotuno. One say ya on Betuaba. You know what he did? He declared a martial law. I'm a soldier for Korea parliament. That action was deemed unconstitutional by parliament. I'm passive vote of no confidence. Supreme Court unanimous decision. South Korea preparation to go into election. The whole president though. How much more? Yes, some obviously infinitesimal will be on an ECG. We need to be very aggressive in our approach. Now you're making sure this time round, young people are available. They've taken vested interest in politics. They are monitoring. They see how things are going, and they want to take some key decision. Don't forget Akufo-Addo na a mad handkerchief except for money. So Okwaboso Kanya na omojeje tax at the man. Obekono na a man number bono. But it's the same person. Nothing has changed because of Abrababoni on the power of the boy. You understand? Yeah. So when you have political power, it's an opportunity. So, those who pursue wealth, they are narrow-minded, twisted individuals, and they don't even understand governance. Rachel. But the name Nkrumah left because of the legacy he built. His name will live forever. Who remember Obiawasi 26 buildings? How is legal? Now, because I know the day you may be the richest person in Ghana, you can't feed everybody. The poorest person in Ghana, ODD. He's the poorest. He will eat tomorrow. So when you get power, make positive impact, and that is the most important thing.
Very well, Doctor. So as a more like a communication, the flow of communication, especially with the Doomso thing. So is there any avenue? Is there any reason why? Because it's a Ghana for whom they enjoy value for money.
Oh, some of these things, it is in the bosom of ECG.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I think hereby I had several press conferences. The energy minister addressing the public about the state of the energy sector. There's even a plan to build another gas plant.
Okay.
What have you had? So the communication is ongoing. Of course, Ghana are asking for more. There's no difficulty. Like I said earlier, we work at the pleasure of Ghanaians. If at any point in time, I'm not trying to say your communication, and my yet said your mopena, we'll ramp it up and do what we need to do to make sure the issues, about many. So that is the point. But the point must be made. Say where we are now, no credit or one.
Is there anything that can be? You will be able to be a year for one now. Said the baby away in ya.
Of course, I don't think Ghana for to Obama. I for Obama, I have very significant changes in the energy sector. Ghana for us to Obama. We are still putting in place measures a day. Stable electricity, stable power. You buy independent power producers. Yet you have a breaker. Kaka yetu ya allocate scar for fuel any other okay say buy na fuel mpo power plant ye bi ni hono ye buy ye ni na ama ene bibia akoso boko. The point is that governance is a process. The difficulties na we in Ghana for her so the two abamaye. It is those difficulties na ebe solve. But the point must be made. So why we are no, to be very honest, and yet every sphere of our national life, our social life, a car aba baby edim. What they make us say. Enti Ntim Nketia was say the system no, etimi nyane ekwa enim na no has become a difficulty.
All right.
We want to promise the people of Ghana. Said Nchoma to Abamaye. Yede sheshe pabegu akwemu na yaye. Complaints the brain no and also yen on the part of government side no. We don't want to complain. So
I say it too early. I say
we don't want
the complaints are becoming too early. As at the end,
we don't want to engage in that. I know it's Ghana for to my intimate be some question and also okay. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, by 120-day social contract. The last time I came out of 25 presidents were 19 Thursday on launch the free sanitary pad project.
I see. Coming Thursday.
Yes, I allocated about 300 million to that. Yeah, by levy, betting tax. You can say free senior high school. Yeah, decentralized feeding. You allocated 3.5 billion Ghana cedis. Mahama Care projects. You launch 1 million codes program. You launch a Juma program. You launch national apprenticeship program. Technical committee. You launch. So many of these programs are present. Mama can't over here in the first 120 days. Why they? Energy sector difficulty. It's be about the people of Ghana or more comfort, any or many GA, any or more right as Ghanaians. Our mutual taxes. I was almost a canon. The government of John Dramani Mahama ready to assuage the plight of the people. In the energy sector, I be difficult, She be Michigan for in a matter of 2-3 months, there will be pastors. What's the name?
All right.
All
right. Lucius.
Yeah.
Now, I'm from wrap up on this issue. Yeah.
The Rebecca said the Ivan Kyei say I said there's lack of communication. I feel say Odika. So say na Dr. Eka say ministry no aye press conference and that is at the ministry level.
Yeah.
And so at the sector level no me feel say say ECG ankasa on daily basis say their light be off and I say ebe gina so ana brea e de be off no say betim Ghana for edin what you say because a light e be off on tehwe time adno so beba no unim say unim time o light de be off e bia me gidi say ne ma bi wo hono man ka be den obeye ansana akọ off what you say me e bia say light no so kra akọ off unim time light de beba enti no ye wo bibi wo hono na say opese o ya o de kwa akọhye that period be say light wo to hono ma na light go off wo hono ma na aba ene ndie me feel say ECG for ne Ghana for any year so once at the ministry no na fam de me so me eji ECG say benso no bema information nye den enflow cause at least obia ne oyisu kania bia no otua hoka enti no ohia service no once anipa na atua no kwade na chese wa ready say obeden obese evun nche okutua ene kura no thank God say yenyusu ayi no bim anka no wo ha boso postpaid enti no prepaid enti once anipa no kwa akoto ayi power no nko ade ede abehiem na chese watuaka owo botaye nti okweden okotoye enti no ese also utimi S7 no wo hwe na se service no there is a challenger e bia wuntimi meet niema bia you let the person know and then so dia kwa no internet adaroma even Facebook kura na say other social media handles no say who page kura let one ma me gidi say am for be share enti no se pa say light be ko off and say information o manipa ente de who need any justification to that effect. Say, won't say, reach out to the people. We have several avenues. I'll be reaching out to the general public.
Ivan, wait a moment, just 1 minute.
Okay, but some I can feed into the inefficiencies.
Yes.
You see, as some way by ECJ, you want to be given that update.
Yes.
But is there now the ministry, then through government. But because Obiam Fajan to a much, they feel so normal,
very comfortable.
Kind of attitude. So I think that is why we need to be very frontal and instill some sense of discipline into some of these state-owned enterprises. And some of the decisions I have reckless or take it with you because that internal culture, no. Give prominence to that kind of inefficiency. No, we need to, you see, resetting not just state institution in the here, and some of these agencies in Asafo, they take the fat salary at the time. Bank of Ghana run a loss. Our loss near unprecedented in our history. No, now you're to gold watch and as for the mark your friends board members.
Board members, yeah.
Yes, they were paying themselves allowances 500,000, 5 billion per each individual. At the time the company Boka in our history, they were printing money.
We will a handshake. Governor Bekwai so shaking hands with all the staff members into be at 20,000. Hey,
so and just imagine, Dr. Nia not your friends saying district baby all your operation. Obi blood, Agasia Guneni, Nanipan HIV, now why are you infected forever no, or in the family in FACO.
Yeah.
The risk these people are going through, people rendering essential services, Obiti baby because of way and you see, sometimes anything of mining you know, because you see, or mining Yebi. And yet those up there is the efficiency on the ground. People workforce no more honor. How are we energizing them? How must be motivated and they work?
Very well. Very well. Mami now I say Ivan Kyei, innocent, a youth activist, youth activist. Mami Kanisa, may I say for your time this morning. And me Lucius. So this is what NDC communication team member now.